live. Okay, cool. Hello, welcome to Dead Nightclub.
Welcome.
Well, this
This
is
is
Hey.
the weekday podcast.
the weekday podcast because
featuring
Reverend got
Will
a
I Am.
just chill for a second because Reverend got a fucking job, so
fuck
Reverend
off.
can't do stuff. So if
This thing, I can kind of. I have Sunday off.
okay,
Welcome. We got celebrity guest Will I Am. Will I Am, how are you doing today? Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to meet with us.
Just call me random, you cunt.
So,
So-
How do I change my picture?
okay,
welcome to Guest Club, featuring Random, aka William, aka Dear Yolk.
yes.
Yes. So how do I change my picture again?
Oh my fucking god.
Okay, I fucking asked this like 6 times before we
You
started.
just go to
No one-
Skype, go to the toolbar, hit Skype, hit profile, and it change your picture.
Fucking scrub.
You piece of shit.
Shit.
You piece
Oh
of
my
shit.
god.
Oh shit.
Quick, restart the fucking podcast.
No, we can't do this. This isn't Game Grumps.
Do it.
Stop. We're already live.
And we're the nightclub.
No, this is a lawsuit.
And it's a lawsuit.
Okay, so Random, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Random. I'm an Irish white male. Yay!
Hi, Jimmy Pyrofox.
He's a
Wait,
cis.
I'm
He's a
probably
cishet
hated
scum.
by Tumblr because I'm a straight white male atheist
You know, both
in Ireland.
You're cis.
Jesus, no!
You're a cishet male scum.
Oh, totally.
Fucking nasty.
Mm.
You're pressing me just.
How
Be
can
like,
you
"Who
accuse
is this
Disney?
guy?"
How can you accuse Disney of whitewashing Brave? Do you know what race the people in Ireland are? They're so fucking white. It's not even funny.
Okily dokily then.
Now that we're actually podcasting, I remembered why we don't podcast.
Yeah.
Alright.
Random has the entire fucking script this time around. We're just sitting here on Skype talking about politics. And I'm like, hey, maybe we should podcast since we have people and we're talking about interesting things. And then this fucker goes around and makes an entire script.
Didn't make a script, I made literally a list.
You are a list.
You guys wanted to talk about what?
Abortion.
Let's start from
Yeah,
the... Let's,
abortion.
Don't-
Let's just go straight into
no, let's start from the least offensive and just build our way up.
ISIS. They're a bunch of crackers.
Holy
let's be
fuck.
honest.
Come on now.
Oh, I'm not even kidding.
Don't
I saw a
drop beats that
documentary on
hard.
it. They're as brain dead as fucking doors. Except they...
Okay, Random. Let's be
Okay.
professionals.
Alright, let's
Okay, so...
let's take a breather. Everyone take a deep breath
Let's
in.
lick our elbows.
Take a deep breath out. Okay. Where do we start?
Alright, let's start from the least offensive subject, which
Abortion.
was... I think it was politics. So let's, socialism, Denmark, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Actually,
Denmark, you get fucking paid to go to education. Get paid to go to primary school, paid, well, I think your parents do for the primary school, but in secondary school you get paid about 660 quid a month, which is actually massive, considering. And also you get to go to university for free, which is, that's kind of not
Sounds
the same
heavenly.
here. Yeah.
Only I live there.
In England, you now have to take out a loan for. I don't think you have to pay interest on that loan for university, but still they remove the grants. In Ireland, it's same with you get grants depending on how much you earn.
In America, you take out
America.
a loan and they systematically screw you for about a good decade of your life or two.
Yeah, there's
Sounds
interest in
great.
the American one, and you also have to pay to apply in Canada and America, which is
yeah.
fucking nuts.
And then
like-
it's well,
you-
yeah.
You have to pay to apply for a loan.
Yes, you do. It's fucking
no,
stupid.
you have to pay to apply to a college.
Yeah.
Even if it's
Oh,
rejected.
I'm like, if you have to pay to apply for a loan, what if you need to take out a loan to pay for the fee that's required to pay for the loan?
Take out the loan to get
No.
the loan.
Shit,
But it's like-
loanception.
It's kind of dumb though, because it's like, why would you pay to apply to somewhere when you don't know if they're gonna accept you or not?
Because
Yeah,
that's how they make money and they're fucking assholes. For
Yeah.
fun stuff.
Let's see, what's another problem? So, yeah, Jeb Bush wanted to... I've actually just found out about Jeb Bush. His name is John Ellis Bush. right?
Yeah.
Jeb is the fucking acronym of John Ellis Bush.
Why are they calling him that on national news outlets then? I mean, holy shit.
Because no one
So
wants
yeah,
to
his
say
name's
his name.
Jeb Bush, and he wants to, what was it, something like double working hours, which is,
Which
I think
makes
it's
no fucking sense
madness.
to me.
Because
Then
if
again,
people
he's
working 2 jobs on minimum wage, not earning enough to feed their family, and he's going to double that? Like, what
that's
kind
supposed.
of
That sounds like it would help, but you know what? That's fucking stupid. Because if you're working 9 to 5, it's like you get sore at the end of the day, and it sucks. And if you double that and you just stand there, it's just like, okay, are you gonna pay my medical too? No, probably not. You're a Republican. You don't want to pay for my shit.
I was just about
Then
to
why are
say.
you doing this?
I was just about to say, and then you get screwed over because you don't have enough money to pay for any medical bills. So.
Yeah, that too. And say you're working a really weird job where you have to work 12 hours a day. What? Do you work 24 hours a day? Is that even
Yeah.
possible?
like, I swear
I
to
work-
God, if you don't have insurance in America, it's a gamble
hell.
whether you're going to systematically be murdered or not. Like,
Even
you may
the
not, you may
supposed-
survive the crash, but you're not going to survive the bills.
You know, the
Yeah.
funny thing is that even the supposed affordable healthcare, you have to pay out the ass to have. It's not even affordable for most people. It's just like, what the fuck? And then if something does happen and you do have to go on like, say, an ambulance ride, even for nothing, the ambulance ride costs about $1,000. It's just like, fuck you guys.
Yeah, I've heard it
That
can
sucks.
cost anywhere between 1,000, 2,000.
You know
See,
what's
yeah,
strange
the thing-
when you
Go ahead.
Go on, Sherman.
You know what's strange when you live in a country that living is a privilege.
Yeah.
The freedom.
See-
It's like look at all your rights, but that doesn't matter if you can't pay to be alive.
exactly.
See, the thing that sucks about being in Canada is because, like, Canada's great and all, but it's like the US affects us so much, so if you guys get fucked over, we get
Oh.
fucked over as well.
Oh, dude, you know what I heard the other day? There's like a special program people are making where they're pretty much piggybacking off of Canadian benefits but living in the US. It's just like, well, gee, Canada's gonna get fucked too once everybody does that since the Canadian system is so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard meds in
I have
Canada far cheaper than the US, so people will often just cross the border, buy, like, I don't know, like anything, like just stuff you take for granted, like, well, here you take it for granted, like Paramol or Panadol or whatever it is. They just go over there and buy it for like 1/10 of the price and then sell it, like almost drug dealing it back into the US market.
Yeah.
I have family that lives in Canada that actually claims to be part Indian because a certain chain of our family was married onto Indian ground, but none of them were Indian, mind you.
Yeah.
So they actually have fucked with the family family lineage books enough that they get Indian benefit or Native Canadian benefits.
It's kind of
Wait, there's
it's
a
really
difference.
dumb. I hate when people do that because they're like, "Oh yeah, like we fucking took all your land. Now I'm gonna fuck you over and pretend that I'm native because I'm related by law to some
Oh,
native
yeah.
I
person."
wonder,
You
how
want to
come
know what everyone fucking does in the South? They always say, "Oh, I'm part Cherokee," and it's just
I'm
like, yeah, you
100
are not part Cherokee.
I'm
so
one
bad.
128th Cherokee Indian, thank you very much.
That sounds like Tumblr. Just like I'm
Yeah, they
I'm
all do that.
1/16th. I'm 1/16th Mexican, so I can't be racist because I'm
You know-
minority.
What galls me
Oh,
about
yeah.
that is that there's this bitch named Miranda Adria who's like maybe 1/6 Mexican, and she goes around saying, "Hey, Latino sisters, we're all related." And it's just like, fuck you. And then I'm like maybe a 4th Costa Rican, and I get told, "Oh, sweetie, you're white passing. You can't do this. You can't do that." It's just like, will
How
you
is-
suck my dick? You're all
White
loving
passing?
Miranda Adria.
How is
She's
white?
not even Mexican.
How is white passing a fucking privilege?
What
Because
is
you
white
look
passing?
white, supposedly it benefits you.
Oh, that's class.
I have a friend actually who's like, who you if you saw on the street you would just call her white, but she's apparently Mexican, but it's just her skin's horribly white, so I don't know what to make of that sometimes. She's a great person though.
She's a great
Oh
person.
fuck,
Though.
I'm disgusting.
I know
really
you
don't
are.
get the whole racism problem because it seems like it's only done by the biggest cretins of society. And then when people get offended by Obama using the word nigger in an example,
When did he?
I really don't get that.
It's
Like-
because America is like fucking sensitive as all shit. I've
If
even
you're-
heard other countries make
Stand
fun of
up,
us for
because
that.
If you're white and you use it, you can't because that's not your word. If you're black and you use it, you're perpetuating racist stereotypes. It's like what? Fucking either ban everyone from using the word or get over it because it's just a
That's-
word.
Okay, it pisses
Yeah,
me off when
like
people
if you're
are.
seriously going to get offended, that's more so your problem than anyone
Okay.
else's.
TBH, I hate when people are like, "Oh, only black people can say this because blah blah blah." It's
Or-
like a slur, and it's like, The thing is though, it's like if you're calling yourself, if you're called like if I call myself a bitch and then other people call me a bitch, I'm not gonna get offended because I called myself a bitch.
No,
That's
it
just
Yeah,
will.
it's
You
like
know, with that,
it's
Remember
like
the
getting offended at the only 90s kids will remember. It's like, oh, well, I was an 80s kid, you bastard.
what about the dreads thing?
the
oh
dreads
yeah,
thing.
that
Oh my god, fucking that's
Yeah.
so dumb.
Say that. What was that again?
it was dreads and now it's cornrows. They're saying that those are appropriating culture, and it's like those don't really have a culture. Dreads are what naturally happens to your hair when it gets dirty. It just kind of lumps up and becomes like a dread. People are saying that this is a part of a culture, and it's like, no, that's pretty universal. That's just what happens to your hair.
There's
It's
like a bunch of.
hair.
It's funny because
Why
black.
are we like? Why are we saying that people can't express their hair the way they want?
It's funny because it's like
Because
there's a bunch of black
Is
people on
this
Tumblr who are
funny?
like, oh, if you're white and you braid your hair, then that's like cultural appropriation because it came from black culture, and it's like, look at all the
it did
native.
not come from black
It's like
culture.
look at all the
Or
native cultures, the Greek cultures, the Nordic cultures, and like every other culture that has ever used braids before.
Oh,
It's
you're
yeah,
blonde? How
they're
could
saying
you?
braids
You're
are
offending
used
the
to appease.
Nords. Like,
I mean, like in the very same right, you can just go on and fucking say that you can't speak English because that was like originally a European white language.
At this point, you
Exactly.
might as well
have you
say,
know,
"Oh,
it
you can't
still
use your
is.
iPod 6 because it's fucking made by white people, you fucking scum." That's
Wait,
cultural
no, the
appropriation. Or you
iPod
can't drink
6 is made
Starbucks.
by.
Starbucks is for white people.
See, but the
I'm nearly sure the iPod 6 is made in Foxconn in China.
But you know what is invented by a white person? Same shit though. Okay.
it's funny though
Well,
because it's like
like,
it's only cultural appropriation if it's like not white people. It's like, oh, if it's a white
so,
person, then it's not
Yeah.
cultural appropriation because white people don't have any culture. Like bull fucking shit. Look at all the rich European cultures. Like, eat my entire ass.
Okay,
Telling
anyway,
can I
you.
just say
so I
this?
found that someone trying to. Okay, go on.
Wait, let me carry this into a very related topic. Reverse racism.
Oh, this is
That's
a
I'm
disaster.
You
okay.
I'm
cannot,
gonna be devil's
quote
advocate.
unquote, you cannot be racist if you're white.
You mean you can't be racist towards white people? Is what you mean?
Or yeah, or no, it's like yeah,
You
only
You
can't.
whites
can't be
can be
racist.
only whites can be racist, and you cannot be racist towards a white person.
Yeah.
So let me bring up my favorite topic of this. My friend, still a friend, thankfully, even though some of her beliefs are a little fucked. But I was discussing the whole Snoop Dogg doing whiteface thing. I'm like, yeah, but if someone did blackface for comedy, they'd immediately get called out for racism and whatnot. There's also
It's
instances
true.
in, and it's like, okay, blackface has that history. Fair enough. Whiteface is quote unquote for comedy. It's not the same. But what about this one Nordic culture that does it's I forget the exact name of it, but I'll look it up in a minute. It's like they do blackface, but it's not meant for like African Americans or Africans, I should say. It's meant because it's like some Christmas thing. It's like it's supposed to be like Coalface or something. It's like a fictional character that they've been doing it as tradition for like hundreds of years. But then she starts saying, "Oh, that's still racist because it's blackface, even though it's not even meant for the
It
same
wouldn't
thing."
surprise me if coalface was a thing before they even knew about black people, because,
You
like,
know,
in Irish, just the language, if you want to say black man, you say Faragorm, which is, it means blue man, right? Faradog means black man. But Faragorm
Oh, found it,
is
found
the
it.
name for a black man, like an African, right?
Zwart.
And the reason for that is because a black man in Irish is a coal miner. So, like, it really doesn't surprise me if that whole, like, black face thing, which also had to do with coal, is like before they even knew about racism,
See, I
or
think
you
before
know,
I
this was
always
even a thing.
I always forget that Ireland has its own language.
It's true.
it's
It's
Gaelic,
strange.
right? The
Yeah.
language is
Yeah,
Gaelic.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay. The thing with
It's a giant.
I'll
It's
play
really
devil's advocate here. I kind of agree with the reverse racism thing on a U.S. centric basis, but anything outside the U.S., say you go to an Asian country, right? Japan is very, very well known for being extremely xenophobic. They do not like white people, and yes, that is
It's
racism
true.
there because white people are the minority. But in the
Yeah.
U.S., you can't really be racist against. Well, you can be racist against a white person, but it won't cause them any
Yeah.
systematic harm because
Exactly. It's
they're the majority.
yeah, because it's
You
like
can't. Yeah.
basically you can't be racist against the majority group.
Yeah, you can't.
So,
You
Then
have to
there's
try
speaking
to
of
stick
like,
with the majority
racism, I
group.
found out recently about the whole KKK group, and actually a majority of them aren't as bad as you'd think.
oh,
They're actually
Oh.
only
Uh-oh.
after, like, the criminal gangs, right?
Uh-oh.
However, the problem is there are extremists, and there's too many of them,
Yeah.
and they make the news.
That's
right?
the
You're never
exact
going to
same
hear.
thing as like all Muslims aren't bad, but the extremists speak the loudest.
Yeah, you're never going to hear of the passive Muslim, but you will hear of the terrorist. So the KKK isn't actually as a whole meant to be that bad. They're only sort of against the black groups, like the sort of gangland crime. But they do murder, like there are extremists which get a
The
fucking
thing with
shit.
the KKK and all those white pride groups is not only are they against the quote unquote gangs, but they have gone around lynching slaves for being free in the good old days back when
Yeah.
all that shit was happening, and they have gone after people that aren't that bad. In fact, they're against mixed race couples because they're saying they're
My dad
destroying,
is.
they're destroying the white genes and that white people are going extinct and blah, 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 blah. They're saying people can't love who they love if they're of another race. I totally disagree with that one. I'm not gonna
I thought you
lie.
were gonna say something else.
Yeah, I was not gonna say that. I'm fucking
So like,
part
oh,
Mexican.
okay.
I'm not gonna say, oh, I agree with that one. But, but
Well, yeah, I
I mean,
agree with
that's
that.
not, the KKK is pretty bad. Even if
Oh yeah.
you should,
Like, but as a whole, they don't seem too terrible. But I still don't
Okay.
agree with them.
they've
This
lynched
is-
They're not as
people.
bad.
This is
made out
kind
to be.
of related because I actually heard about this interesting topic because I have like a blog on Tumblr that I'm a part of, and it's like a social justice thing, and
Oh,
basically it was like someone was like talking about like pedophilia and like how it's like a mental illness that could be treated and shit, and it's like not all pedophiles like actually act out, like they don't, like they fantasize about it, but like they don't actually like go and do anything. So it's like what is your guys' opinions on that? Like what do you think of like
okay.
pedophiles who
No, wait a second. Are
Still
we
wrong.
talking
You're
about
still
pedophilia or are we talking about rape?
we're talking about like
well. The thing is,
pedophilia. Like
Because
pedophiles
pedophilia
are
is like
still wrong, even
specific
if
rape,
they're.
or are we talking about rape as a broad subject?
we're talking about pedophilia as like a specific. We're talking
Mm.
about like people who fantasize like dating kids and like whatever, having a relationship with them. But it's like
The
it.
thing,
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, here's my opinion.
Okay, here we go.
You can be racist, you can be anti-Semitic, you can be sexist, you can be a pedophile, but
Just don't say it.
I don't care if that stays in your head. If you use those beliefs to take actions on other people that could harm them, is when issues come up. But if it's just like there, but you still function and you're not going to actually pursue that kind of thing, then you're perfectly fine.
the
Yeah.
only
There's-
reason I disagree
it's like
with that
it's
is
like
that
the difference between like saying, "Man, I'd like to kill this person," and like then going and actually killing them. Should we lock up everyone who has like a homicidal thought, even though they might not actually want to carry that out?
That's a good point.
I'm gonna have to say that I
Big
totally
Brother is-
disagree with that one, because the thing is that when parents pass on the racist intentions to their kid, because you're gonna discuss your political opinions with your children and tell them really how you feel about shit. When you pass it on to your kid could take action, or somebody can take action. Your kid could start bullying kids for being another race. That's shitty. I don't think that having an opinion or committing a thought crime is bad, but when you start passing down your beliefs or preaching your beliefs, then you are pretty much, I think the word is
See, this
embedding.
sounds like it's coming into the whole creation versus evolution sort of thing.
What the fuck?
Like,
What?
no, because like creationism it doesn't have anything scientific at all to it. It's complete boat in a way. Let's be honest, right? But
Let's be honest.
people will teach them creationism as true, and now you get like some fucking shocking number, like I don't know, it's like 30% of Americans or something like that, could
Well-
even be higher, believe in creationism, and some like 7% believe, that's 1 in 10. Like just under 1 in 10 people believe the world's still flat, and that's just from parents teaching their kids. So in
Yeah.
a way, I kind of agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
I can
Well,
see
I
both
haven't- I
sides.
have-
I agree with both sides, and that's like my problem because I'm like, both good points.
Sure.
I can't really pick a
I'm
side because it's
kind
like
of in the
on
same
one
boat
hand.
with Otter.
Yeah, it's like on one
Oh,
hand, yes, on the other hand, no, because it's like, if they're not like teaching it to like, I guess it's fine if they're not like preaching it to other people, and so long as they're not like going to act out upon it, and so long as they're not going to teach other people that it's okay, then I think it's fine. But if you're teaching other people that it's okay to do shit like that and whatnot, then like I don't think that's right.
Yeah, that's my only thing. I mean, yeah, you can have your opinion.
Well-
There's no such thing as a thought crime. I mean, come on. But still, if you begin teaching your kids this shit and preaching it, your kid may act out on it, or somebody
Yeah.
may act out on it.
Well, there's another thing where I don't believe you're fully disagreeing with what I'm saying, because there's a difference between preaching and like trying to convert other people to your thought system and informing others or telling people what you believe. There's a big difference between I believe these people are lesser, I don't think these people should be given the same rights, but I'm not going to pursue that because it causes too much trouble, versus like I would like you to follow my legacy and fucking try
Well,
to
you don't even need to have a
achieve
kid
my
follow your
dreams.
legacy.
Because
You
no,
can
Okay,
talk
so
about
kind of
anything,
because
but
the
I
thing is
believe.
like with the whole freedom of speech debate, if you can't pass on or discuss your bad beliefs, why should we be allowed to pass on our goods? Because then you're going into really subjective territory, and
Yeah.
we don't know where to draw the line between what we can speak of and what we can't then.
Well, you could say your opinions.
In a
It's just
way,
like you want to watch it, but some people don't know what a good opinion and a bad opinion is, which is just you
It's
never know what
subjective.
you
Well,
get.
because
The
the thing
line is
Yeah.
is,
blurred.
Yeah.
because I was gonna
Mhm.
say the thing is that there's like, because like everyone's moral compass is different. It really depends on how you're raised and what your values are. Like if you're raised in a different culture, you're gonna have different values. Like, for example, like in America, like fucking you guys are like patriotic as fuck and like whatnot, but and like you guys are like very family based. But if you go to somewhere else where like I don't know, you're more encouraged to like be independent and shit. I don't really have any like countries off the top of my head, but like if you go to a different
so
place, like do you
okay,
get what
so
I'm
kind
saying?
of similar to this is the whole abortion thing. Now, like, I don't mind if someone is against abortion and doesn't want to go for it themselves, but to
Yeah.
kind of like block it from other people, I think is completely
Yeah.
immoral.
See, that's
I
what
agree
that's
with that
why
one.
yeah, that's why I don't really have a problem with pro-life people. Like I don't have a problem with them so long as they're not taking away other people's rights because when you cuz it's like no one's forcing you to have an abortion. That's the thing. Cuz
The,
when you take away the right for someone else to have an abortion, then that's taking away their bodily autonomy and then that's like taking away their personal rights and then that means that you're being a dick because you're taking away their rights.
the thing is that goes back to opinions. Is like there's abortion people that are going onto campus that are can't on college campuses that are pro-abortion, showing these pictures of kids that
Okay,
were
you can't
aborted
do that. Like,
incorrectly. No, they
if I
do
actually
that. They
saw
do that
someone do
here.
that, if, I know I've seen people do it in Dublin, and the anti-abortion crowd here gets a terrible abuse.
Same with here. I mean, when I was a small child, I was going to the doctor when I was 9, and my doctor also happened to be across from Planned Parenthood, and there was all these pictures of babies, and I was a 9-year-old kid. This was across the street from a
What
pediatrician. My
the
mom was like, "Okay, you gotta
fuck?
close your eyes right now. You gotta close your eyes. Please close your eyes." My mom was freaking out because she didn't want me to see this because they had brutalized aborted
You
fetuses on
can't
all these pictures.
show people that. That's like,
They
there's a
did.
reason there's an age censorship on
Yeah,
violent movies.
yeah. I mean, this was right out front in the front of a pediatric office, right out front. That was
So
unbelievable.
let me ask
And
this real quick,
Like,
just to make sure: Are we all pro-abortion here? I believe.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
yeah.
I don't think that. I think that there's a fine line between protesting what you believe and brutalizing imagery and scarring people.
Well, yeah.
And
Yeah,
because that's basically how you get subliminal messaging is by
yeah. It's supposed
here's
to
another
induce guilt.
here's another case of the worst speaks the loudest. Because if you
Hmm.
show the absolute worst results of an abortion or the absolute most
Yeah.
tear-wrenching, heart-tugging pictures, you're gonna get the most emotional. Because the fact of the matter is, you can appeal to the heart a lot easier and a
Those
lot more efficiently than you can appeal to the brain. So if you
That's the
can really
problem.
tug at heartstrings
Yeah.
with like things like that, you're gonna convert more people.
Yeah.
And what better way to do that than doing it at a young age?
Yeah, and
And this
like
Yes, but
this comes back into our debate of like, should we pass down our beliefs to children and how should we do that and what should and shouldn't be allowed?
yes, but the thing with those pictures is that I mean, say a little girl got raped and she was like 12. She just started menstruating, so she was able to get pregnant. She had to have an abortion. She had to have the talk.
Yes.
She goes and she sees those pictures. She's gonna start crying. I mean, that's just
yeah,
sad.
because it's like
And when
you're
you're
Yeah, but
going on
like,
college campuses too, and people
yeah,
have been raped and may have had rape babies,
yeah.
and they see that, it's wrong. It's
Yeah.
triggering. It's
It's
bad. You shouldn't do
yeah.
that. That's fucked up.
It's really fucked up because it's
Again,
like you
it's
also
another
have to remember the fact that like a lot of those pictures are from like very like
Messed up abortions. They aren't
they're
even
messed up
correct abortions too.
exactly. They're usually like the coat hanger abortions that you fucking
and it's
Yeah.
also real and
Yeah.
there's also like it's still a growing field.
Unprofessional.
yeah,
So
Some of them aren't
so
even
there's a
abortions,
lot
too.
of like abortion clinics that aren't really legitimate.
yeah, and there's
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that
also
like
results in
unprofessional ones
botched
getting on the schlag.
Some of those,
Even-
botched
some
coat
of
hanger
those,
abortions.
even those
some
like
of those
pictures.
maybe aren't even abortions. Some
Even-
of those are even preemies, I bet.
even
Very,
those
very preemies.
even
Very,
those
very
like
preemies. Sorry.
even those like
It's true,
pictures
it's just-
aren't even like correct, because even if they are from like a legitimate abortion, the thing about that is like it could be from like a miscarriage. Like if you're like 7 months in and then you have a miscarriage, what are you gonna do? They're gonna have to, like, without being like extremely invasive and like without having to do surgery and like cut your stomach open, they're going to like crush the baby up and they're going to pull it out through your vagina.
There's
Like,
also,
I'm
Actually, how they
sorry.
do it, by the way.
Like, it's, I
Also
know it
saying that
sounds
there is
cruel, but
there-
it's a dead thing. It never lived. It's like, ugh. It
Well,
never
actually,
lived.
Yeah.
that's actually something I'd like to discuss. When
There's
does
the-
it qualify as human life?
and see,
Because there's a big
there's-
difference
Christians would
between
say
a
the
collection
second,
of
Wait. You guys
the
are
moment of
talking at the same
conception.
time. You guys are talking at the
The
same
moment of
time.
conception is what you're gonna
Yeah.
say.
Christians would say the second it happens, like God's intervention and it's a life. Then there's the whole thing. It's like maybe when the heart starts beating, it's like, for me, if you think, for me, basically, logically, when is a program, right? It's still code to me. Like if I'm still making it now because I'm a programmer, yeah. So when is it a program? When it's done, really. So like when is it a person? When it's born and it's out. When it's actually able. Like maybe not when it's able to live,
I-
because like maybe when you send it off.
Yeah,
When it's actually born, then it's out.
yeah, you can have a child at like fucking 6 months and there's a chance that it's gonna live.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
pulling back to your code
Then,
thing,
like, in
that's the difference.
possibility
That's
chances.
that's the difference between a fully functioning program and something that has glitches everywhere, Down syndrome,
Yeah.
autism, and
Okay, now
messed up
here's a
limbs,
big-
etc.,
here's a big
etc.
So,
Okay. Can
If
I?
a child was going to be born limbless or maybe without a brain, like it's going to be born dead, or even if it was going to be born with Down syndrome, should the mother get the right to know and then maybe have the option for an abortion?
Well, I think
Now,
yes.
I think it should.
I think yes, because if
the
you can't take
child's
care
gonna
of
be
a
born
kid,
retarded, then yes.
if you can't take care of a special needs kid, then and you don't like if you I that's kind of touchy because it's like my
Wait.
my
Can I say something?
no,
Sorry.
stop for a second.
No, it's because I'm confused.
Go ahead.
Go on.
Are we saying that if it would be born with it even after the third trimester, or are we saying that if you aborted it at like 6 months, it would be, or if you just had it, then it would have like Down syndrome and shit?
Like
No,
if you
no.
if you
Like
gave
if it, like a brain
if it
scan
would just
child
have it.
while in the womb and they knew it was going to be born as a Down syndrome child, I think they can do that now. I'm not fully sure, but I'm
I
fairly
think
Yeah,
sure.
you
they can do
can.
that.
Yeah, you can. But it's like I
So,
think
like, the question is, should the mother get the right to know and then get the option for an abortion?
Yes.
Because I think it would be fair.
yes,
It's like,
because
do that.
it's like on one hand, like if it's like if it's like too far along, it's like then that's kind of inhumane. But it's like also the fact that like if you can't take care of a kid with like special needs and you don't know how, or you don't have like the resources to be able to do that, then I think yeah, you should go for it because it's still your body, it's still your child, it's your ultimate decision. And it's
Speaking of kids with special needs, even, no, it's not even,
Like
no,
me.
not even special needs. Even if you couldn't afford to have a kid, I still think you should get the option to an abortion, no matter, actually, no matter
Exactly.
what the consequences.
And
exactly
here's the thing. The biggest argument against that is just, oh, put it up for adoption. Putting a
Yeah, but you
child up
can't.
for adoption is one of the most scarring things that can happen to a mother.
and not only
Yeah.
that, but
Or
it's
even
like
to the child.
not only
Yeah.
that, but it's like what Reverend said before, like what if a 12-year-old girl is raped? She's probably gonna die during like giving birth.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
Jesus Christ.
Well,
that
that's
makes
a
me-
totally different situation.
Well, I know,
Okay,
but it's
kind
like,
of.
but like, it's still like kind of, you get what I mean. But it's like it's
If
still
the mother,
it's
if the
still
mother's gonna
physically
die
painful.
by having the,
it's
if
still
the mother's
physically
going to
painful and it's still emotionally painful too because it's like you're squeezing like the size of like you're squeezing something the size of a watermelon out of something that's like the size of like a
Yeah.
peach. So it's like that's gonna fucking hurt
Okay.
a lot.
Oh, here's an interesting question.
You mentioned something. We mentioned a key
wait.
word there, and that was emotional pain.
Someone
Right,
asked
now,
us a
cool.
relevant question for this,
Oh, cool.
so I'd rather not move on right yet.
Yeah.
If I'm assuming that they mean if you can't pay for it, should the state pay for it?
Yes.
No.
In fact, I think the state should
Ooh.
cover it anyway, because, like, why do you pay for your fucking healthcare in America? Like, seriously, 200,000 to have a baby, 170,000 for a snake bite.
Yeah,
Fuck
that's
That is a
me.
good point.
that's
The only
That's
thing is that
murder.
What
If you
number?
choose-
Where did
if
you
you
get those
choose to-
numbers?
Oh, there was a.
that's
snake
those
bite.
are the real
Try-
numbers, but I've
Oh.
seen that
They
shit
are real
happen.
numbers. There was
thing with that is
two
that
posts
should-
on Reddit. One British couple had a child there, and they would
Are
charge
you-
220,000.
Are you asking if people should pay for your abortion or should they pay for the kid?
The abortion, I think.
Um, the abortion should be covered under healthcare. So yeah, I agree that one.
What if they
But
don't have health care?
Well,
They should. I still
they
think
should,
it
you
should.
should. We should have a universal healthcare that's affordable.
Well,
Yeah.
Even the affordable healthcare is
Well, given the
affordable,
fact 50% of us are living in areas where healthcare is not free, so
yeah,
That's quite.
what if you don't have healthcare? What happens then?
This
Yeah,
okay.
50%
you're
of
basically
us.
said you basically have to pay out. You have to pay out of pocket for the abortion.
Okay.
Well, okay, so let's go back to the whole
Oh,
12-year-old.
man.
The
Wait,
12-year-old might die if they have the baby and they don't have healthcare.
You still have to pay for it out of pocket. America just says tough shit.
Yeah.
That
Fucking
sucks.
accent
Yeah.
again,
That's
Um.
fucked up as
Fucking
it
hate
is, that's
this.
the truth.
Okay.
I
I'm.
hate your country.
Compared to
I-
last podcast, Jesus.
I.
Well, that's the truth. You have to pay for it out of pocket if you don't have healthcare.
And that's
I
stupid.
am
It is
going
stupid.
to backtrack a little bit, and then we're gonna go back to the topic of mental illnesses and whatnot, and we're gonna go back to the topic of prison as well. And because I discussed with you guys earlier that I saw something on Facebook, and I'm wondering whether you guys agree with this statement or not. Here it is in the chat. Someone can read that out loud if they would like.
So wait, the federal government slashes funding for a social reintegration program for violent and non-violent offenders, and I'm expected to give a rat's ass. These people either stole, raped, murdered, abused, tortured, committed fraud, arson, molested, along many other methods, their way into the prison system, and I am somehow, as a taxpayer, I am expected to give a shit that we are not spending tens of $1 million to reintegrate often deranged criminals back into our society, setting them loose into our streets where children walk to school, men and women walk to work. This country is meant to be a safe one. If we continue to sympathize with criminals, if we're meant to
This
sympathize
nation will
with...
become one in which it is appropriate to behead somebody on a Greyhound bus or rape a little girl or molest a little boy because we're shown that these offenders, that it's okay to do this because our government and society is overwhelmingly willing to pay for them.
Too Long Didn't Read, basically, all these people, these psychopaths committing horrible, first-degree crimes aren't being killed.
No, basically,
Or aren't being...
they're trying to be, okay. What happened is Canada cut the amount of money to reintegrate criminals into society because in Canada, what you do is when you're coming out of prison, you go to like a halfway house kind of thing, and you get like reintegrated into society so you can function as a normal person. And that got cut, and this guy and a lot of people were like, "Oh, why did it get cut? Why did it get cut?" And like this and that and the other thing. And he's basically saying, "I don't really give a shit about it because they're all fucked up in the head probably, and I think they should all be killed." Was basically what he said.
All right,
I
so
think they should be very selective about who they choose for a program like that because people like say Jeffrey Dahmer and things like that who commit extreme horrible crimes.
And I live in Ohio, so
that were like they were done in a pattern. They were done because they were addicted to it. Yeah, systematically. They were done because they were addicted to it. They were done because they couldn't stop themselves, and those were like fucking brutal and took some thinking. Like I'm pretty sure Jeffrey Dahmer is trying to create zombie sex slaves and all this fuck shit.
Jigsaw kind of shit.
Yeah. I actually read on serial killers a lot. Like, say, Ed Gein, too. Ed Gein was beyond repair. He did this because he thought it was fun. He wasn't necessarily a serial killer. He was a grave robber, but he still got off on this in a certain way. Some people are just so mentally destroyed that they can't be re-educated. They get their thrill off of this, and it fucks up their sexuality, it fucks up everything else because this is what they're interested in. You can't stop somebody from exhibiting their true nature in a sense because it's always going to be there and they're going to crack at some point, especially if they're extremely mentally deranged.
Okay, so
basically, should people who are completely fucked in the head be given an extra chance?
No, not completely fucked in the head, but what about like people who are like who actually legitimately think like say that they're sorry and like they're legitimate and they're willing to change? Do you guys think that we should spend money?
So here's the question: where do we draw the line? I've asked that quite a bit. Where do we draw the line?
Right, I've been debating this in my head for a good while now. The thing is, there's two types of people in societies. There's psychopaths and non-psychopaths, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm being as black and white as possible here, but anyway, there's also sociopaths, which are normal people turned to psychopaths. That's usually through like traumatic experience, like Yeah, but anyway, that doesn't matter. So these people will then, so psychopaths can commit a crime and not feel any remorse for it. They can almost completely go with little to no emotion, right? If you get a normal person and they murder someone, they might feel quite shaken and horrified and maybe not be able to sleep for a good while.
A
And they
psychopath or a
won't be,
sociopath just wouldn't care. They'd sleep fine at
yes,
night.
in fact, they're more likely to murder. In fact, it would be a very weird, they'd be an outlier on the like psychopath statistics if they were let out of prison and didn't murder again. So a rehabilitation program is brilliant,
But they need
but
to be
pointless
extremely
to
brutal.
psychopaths, right?
So they'd
Normal
have to
people,
either be
it's
extreme.
brilliant.
So here's what we're dealing with. We need to brutalize the system so that way it filters the psychopaths out easier, or
Not
we're either going to have to
brutalize
crack.
it. There's a way to figure a psychopath. There's a checklist, right? It's known as the psychopathic checklist. It's this huge exam and all this, right? People who score very high on it are more like it's. There's. I should probably have mentioned. Not everyone's a black and white psychopath. There's degrees of psychopathy.
What
So
if they answer knowing what they're doing and to fluke the results?
the thing is, it's
'Cause
hard for a
they're
psychopath
usually-
to actually know, because it asks questions their brains actually can't handle.
That's kind
See,
of the thing with a
we
lot of
kind-
mental illnesses.
Our brains
too.
are formed differently in psychopaths, right? Okay, so one of the worst cases I heard for a psychopath, and this question was sort of this is a bit off topic, but there was this guy who raped this woman's daughter, but the woman let him and was a neighbor, and she just watched and didn't care. Now,
So they're both psychopaths.
both the rapist and the mother were psychopaths, but the daughter wasn't. So
But
who
the
was the
daughter-
worst? Who was the worst in that scenario, the mother or the rapist?
Both. They're both equally bad. The rapist for committing the act and the mother for doing nothing to stop it. Since
I
they're,
almost thought the
they're
mother-
both
I
they're
couldn't-
both
You can also argue that the
They're-
mother is
that.
also giving her child to the rapist to rape, so she's
She
just
was
as
giving-
bad as the other guy. 'Cause she's
Yeah.
giving him something to
well,
brutalize.
it's different. Did she just like say, "Hey, you," or he's like, "Hey, I want to fuck"?
She said she was bored, so she just brought the daughter over.
The mother's
and,
the
well,
worst one.
Dragged the daughter.
Or
over,
okay, the mother's the worst one.
brought him.
Well,
over,
if it's your
not-
child, it's just as bad too, because that also goes against human nature in a way that you don't have your parental instincts. You don't
Yeah.
care about anything. But I wouldn't
Okay,
say she's
so
just as bad. She's the same.
A common thing for a psychopath to say, like, when they lose a child or lose custody of a child, is, "Okay, I can just have another," or like they don't really care. That's
They don't
actually
treat
mostly the
humans
mother.
as humans. They treat
psychopaths.
them as objects. They have no
Mm.
regard for human life whatsoever.
Mhm.
So, oh fuck, let's play some.
How long are we into this? Holy shit, like
Mm.
40 minutes, and we haven't missed a beat.
Yeah. It's hard to know because a psychopath then is the question is, do we give them the death penalty? But then you get kind of helpful psychopaths out there, like who would be a helpful psychopath?
Like, what about like
I don't
people
know.
with like split personality or something like that?
Schizophrenia.
I don't think
There's
they-
actually an argument in the psychological field as to whether or not that's real, because it could be just plain psychosis, or it can be an actual split personality.
What is
So I
psychosis
think that-
exactly? Sorry.
Um,
I don't know how to explain this now.
I'm trying to figure out a way to explain it. I know
can
what
look
it
it up
is.
if we.
You're gonna have to look
They're
it up.
actually
'Cause I don't
making
know
a
it right-
game based off psychosis.
Yeah, I
Well,
can't
they made one
explain
of
it
depression, so.
correctly. I can't explain it correctly. You're gonna have to look it up. I do
Psychosis
know what it
refers
is.
to an abnormal condition of the mind described as involving a loss of contact with reality.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
dissociation and
So
whatnot.
like, so they
No, disassociation is different.
they might think they're like in a dream or they don't. Nothing's real.
Hallucinations, probably, and just everything's fucking. They don't, like nothing makes sense. Let's see.
This is a really interesting
So-
topic.
Yeah, like I said, we're probably gonna have a pretty long podcast.
Yeah.
So,
Longcast.
did you say someone asked a question there a while
A
back?
while
Andrew?
ago, I already asked the question though. It was
We
shit
already
state
got it.
paper. Yeah, we're good.
We're
Okay,
good.
so in brighter news, they're now making a Minecraft movie. Fuck.
Boy.
I
We
love it.
went from
Oh,
like
boy.
Conversation fucking 180.
Jesus.
Let me collect my stomach before I throw up from that inertia
I
change.
thought we were talking about mental illness.
We were, and then you fucking did that.
Isn't this mental
Well, you
illness?
know what?
I thought this would
I'm
be a good
excited for
idea.
the Minecraft movie. I am gonna get high as fuck, and I am gonna go sit in the theater and watch this so that it becomes a fucking experience, because I know I'll enjoy it.
I want to join you.
Look, we should all just get together and watch it.
Right, so, next ethical question. Oh, no, not ethical question. Moral ambiguity. Should we legalize marijuana in every country?
Yes.
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
Yes, please legalize it, and not just for medical use,
Now,
but legalize
question
it
is-
for recreational use, please.
Legalize it
But I
and then
think-
tax the shit out of it like
I-
cigarettes.
Yes, I also agree with that highly. Yes, you
Yes.
should legalize it, and yes, you should tax the shit out of it,
And I
because you will make a
also-
lot of money doing that.
And I also think that people under 18 shouldn't be allowed to, like, smoke it. Because people, like, the biggest concern that people are like, oh, well, it, like, stops development of the brain. And it's like, that's only if you're, like, under
That's
18.
under 16.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Under the age
I'm
of
Then
gonna
some
16,
people
it's
argue that it's
possible.
going to be under 21 because that's or like the average time the brain stops developing.
yeah.
No, but like the places that marijuana affects is just usually around the development for 16. Speaking of,
Yeah.
I don't think
brain
that I don't think that it
development
should be
and
given to
just-
16-year-olds when they're still mandated.
oh, certainly
Yeah,
not.
I agree with
mandated
that.
to go to school.
Yeah.
I think
The
it'd
biggest
be
problem is it
okay,
makes
just like
people lazy
smoking.
AF.
Wasn't there like a spike in car crashes in Colorado when they legalized it?
No.
Dude,
As far as I know,
highly
the crime
doubt
rate
Okay.
drops like a bomb when they
I
legalized
honestly-
it.
this is horrible. I'm not saying that I've done this for legal reasons, but driving under the influence has actually made my driving better. Hypothetically.
My
Just
friends.
hypothetically.
How would you know
one of my
you were
friends
high?
Does this. No, one of my friends has
okay.
done this the whole time, and he drives as slow as fucking shite. He's there
Okay,
like
you
a
do have to
paranoid
watch that.
grandma. Like,
You do have to watch that, but like, I have an anxiety disorder, and one of the things that it really affected was my driving. I'd have panic attacks if my car like
Okay, that's different.
tilted weird, and it helped me, and I was able to drive better and get a hold of myself and figure out, hey, I'm having fun driving. Look at all these bright colors. This is fun. I like driving.
Oh, okay, that's not the same. What I'm saying is that fuck. Because like you're like on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most anxiety, you're up there already. Let's say a normal person is at a 5, and a marijuana takes you down to a 5, but it takes them down to like a 2 or a 3. Makes
That's a
them
good-
sluggish and unaware.
Well, no, you
Also,
don't need-
It
I'm gonna
depends
have
on
to
what
take
kind
that
of
back.
weed.
I just
get
remembered.
more
I got into a car
paranoid.
crash high.
you
It depends
cretin.
on what kind of weed you smoke, too,
Cretin.
because it's like
It's cretin in fucking
Yeah, because
Ireland.
there's
It's cretin in
like
America.
you said, there's salvia, and then there's
you mean sativa.
Saliva.
what?
It's sativa.
Sativa, yeah, not salvia.
Salvia.
No, not
Salvia's,
salvia.
Salvia's
That's a different-
completely.
That's
Oh
a
wait,
different.
pretty
wait,
different drug.
you guys are fucking me up. Yes, sativa and indica. Sativa brings you up, indica brings you down.
So if you're already like really low aware, low functioning, and you go,
If you take indica, yeah, you're gonna fall asleep at the wheel. If you take sativa,
Oh.
you're gonna feel hella aware. It just depends on what kind you're doing and what strain it is.
You just don't
There's
have
even
to
be
hybrids
stupid.
too.
one time I took Adderall before a dance class because the pill accidentally burst and I just licked it up out of my pants. And
GG.
you do not want to do cardio on fucking amphetamines.
You don't
Not
want to
shit that me-
exercise on marijuana either. It feels weird.
Yeah, but like
Yeah,
when you do it in
it's the
Adderall,
weirdest
it
thing.
already like takes away your appetite. It makes your heart beat slightly irregularly. It makes you a lot more hyperactive and focused. So if you have nothing to focus on just normally and you just start fucking doing cardio, you're gonna like burst a blood vein.
No, but like I'm not even.
I was
sure,
like
it's the
exhausted and
weirdest
sweating
fucking
by the
Okay,
time that was
wait,
over.
wait, wait, wait.
every part of your muscle moving.
Yeah, it's
the-
weird.
It's just like
so
what
weird.
The fuck is, like,
I did-
You know that you're well aware that you're completely exhausted, and you're like, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna run another lap. I don't care. I'm not that tired. And you can
I
feel your
keep-
body dying away below you.
I keep forgetting that, like, Random has actually, like, smoked weed. I keep forgetting
Yeah,
that.
he smoked it like 2 years ago. I was
I
around.
think everybody here has smoked weed. That's how.
I have-
No,
easy it is
I'm
to
a good
get.
egg.
I haven't
know,
actually.
Okay,
I've been
3
off
out
of
of
it.
4 of
but-
3 out of 4 have smoked weed because weed is very easy to get. I don't get why they just don't legalize it because anybody can get weed. It's
I have
just
had the
social.
chance actually. I've even like been 2 feet away from it, but it looked pretty shitty, so I didn't even try it.
Well, that's the
Okay,
point.
so-
Weed is so easy to get. Why don't we legalize it? I mean,
I'm
anybody
not
can
gonna
get weed.
lie,
So
but for
I
a
don't
good while,
understand.
I was actually quite against alcohol. Like, I honestly thought it was a desperate fucking drug. I mean,
You sure you're saying
It's-
desperate in the right connotation or denotation?
of
Connotation.
course not. I'd already.
No, that's denotation.
Oh yeah, I already told you I say
Denotation.
desperate and dire as
Yeah.
awful.
He says weird words.
Yeah, no. It's not even my accent this time. It's just
I'm
shocking
Irish.
English. Just
It's just your
absolute terror.
retarded, your retardedness.
Anyway, yeah. So,
Anyway, yeah.
for a good while, I thought that alcohol was just terrible, and actually, in a way, I still think it is. Like, it's really, really quite a depressant, and
It is.
it really wrecks your lives and others' lives. I mean, maybe just like
So
once
here's
a
my
week,
question.
just for a bit of fun, but really anything more than that, and it's madness.
Well, this took a dark turn.
What chance do we see of people starting to legalize more drugs? And
Very high.
how far do you think it's gonna go?
Okay, so
okay,
there's a difference between legalizing.
no,
Whoa,
let me base
chill.
this off of what I said earlier, or what I heard a while ago, that in like the 50s and 60s, cigarettes were considered healthy. It was like a cigarette a day keeps the doctor away, shit like that. They would hand them out in front of high schools and stuff. I heard from my grandmother.
Something like victory torches, they were also called.
Yeah,
Someone.
but then
I've
they
forgotten
found
who
out
did
all
that.
the bad things that they caused. So now that there's probably going to be a lot more research on weed, just a hypothetical, I'm not weed bashing.
Oh no, go ahead. I
What
agree
if-
that weed is really bad for you
what
at the
if-
same time.
Oh,
What
no,
if we like
no,
start
no.
discovering a lot of horrible things it does to you, depending on like extremely regular use? What if it's another one of those cases like what if you start ending up unable to function
I would
without it?
actually be all
Because
for that, but the one problem with
we-
it currently is it is illegal, which means people will add anything to it, and you have no clue. It's not regulated.
Weed is not.
It's not.
Weed has no addictive chemicals in it. They've established this.
Yeah.
People have addictive personalities. I
Yeah.
know people who are addicted to smoking marijuana because they like the high.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
because it's the chemicals doing it to them. They want it.
Yeah, I honestly, with my experience with it, I wasn't addicted to it. There was no come down if I didn't do it. I just really liked it because I really liked the fact that I was constantly cheerful. I was only addicted to it because I'm depressed. That's the only reason. It's not addictive. It's just, it doesn't do that.
It's addictive personalities, not addictive drugs.
Um.
Um,
So wait.
so
Yeah.
Christ, this
all for
podcast.
actually being regulated and all that, because I think the biggest problem is, like, the reason you can't buy cigarettes on the cheap or illegally is because there could be fucking anything in it. There's no like proper checking. There's no proper safety
Oh yeah,
or anything like
Well,
that.
same
You
with
could have
weed.
fucking yeah.
I mean-
Now, Portugal did this thing a while back where they had a massive drug problem, and they did the opposite to fix it. They didn't make it completely illegal. They decriminalized it. And what did this do? It basically meant that people could have it on their possession, but it'd be taken off them. It didn't mean they could buy it. It didn't mean they could use it in public. It simply meant that if they were caught with the drug, that they would be asked to go to a rehab
Oh.
and or private, like no one would be sort of named and shamed, and it worked brilliantly. People were like, it's cleaned up their drug problem significantly. But people get worried when they hear the word decriminalize because they think immediately it's like, oh, legalize everyone, everything's coming in the door, there's fucking drugs everywhere, heroin needles in 12-year-olds' arms, panic, shitstorm, death. It's like, I hate doomsday arguments. It's like, oh no, if we legalize abortion, there'll be no children born for the next 20 years. It's like,
that's fine by me. I fucking
It's
hate
like if you
children.
legalize gay marriage, then everyone's going to become gay.
If you legalize gay
Oh, yeah,
marriage,
I hate
people
that
will
argument.
start
Then there's-
marrying
then there's-
animals.
Let me speak. Then there's the argument that's like, if you're a gay couple and you have a child, then the child's gonna be gay. It's like, then how did straight people have gay children?
Well, you
Exactly.
know what? You know what? You want to know what gem my grandma told me the other day? The fact that gay marriage is bad because then, what if the children see men holding hands? That's horrible for them to see. This is a horrible influence on the children. Think about the children. She's like, so what if they see it? Maybe it's not so bad. They can understand that not
Fuck.
only
Good
male
luck,
and men and women like each other.
Good luck,
It's not
Charlie.
bad. Yeah.
When the big plot twist at the end was, oh, she has two mothers. Everyone flipped shit at Disney. They were sending a 5-year-old girl death threats.
Oh my god.
Even though she's not even like conscious enough to process that.
I thought these people that were against gay
Lol.
marriage were supposed to be all about the children.
Yeah,
The
but this is
children.
like a Christian
Ah!
channel or like big family Christian audience. So.
Oh god.
But Tumblr tell me the straight people are the minority. We don't have gay marriage. We have civil unions.
The thing that my
We
mom
have gay marriage
said, my mom, she's like, I don't mind if gay people like get married, but she doesn't want it to be called marriage because marriage is like a Christian sacrament, is what she said. And it's
No,
like,
it's fucking not. Let me quote something. Marriage was originally used. My daughter will marry your son, and we will get more power together as a kingdom.
oh,
Yeah,
it's
It
okay.
is
gonna break
not.
it's gonna break the sanctity of marriage. Yet there's
What
people
fucking
marrying
sanctity?
fucking Twilight Sparkle fucking plushies and shit.
The sanctity of marriage has been destroyed for years. It's never really been like that sacred because people are marrying each other off just to have like money and power. I mean, hell, it still happens sometimes. In fact, my great great grandma was actually my great great grandparents were in arranged marriage. I mean, like that shit still happens. So
Yeah.
the sanctity
People
of
even
marriage
get
really
married
isn't a
just
thing
so they
anymore.
can sneak people into other countries, like Mexicans marrying into Americans.
Yeah, having an anchor anchor marriage or anchor whatever. I don't know what it's called. Fuck.
If they want to get married, fucking let them. It's not hurting anyone.
So let's see.
But I heard an interesting argument though. It's like marriage is old, it's outdated, and it causes more problems than it needs. If we legalize gay marriage, it strengthens an outdated, useless system that we should be trying to get rid of all entirely.
The only reason
Think of
though is that marriage is relevant because you can't say your other significant other goes into the hospital. You have to be a family.
yeah, yeah,
And if
yeah.
you're not a family, yeah, get the hell out. So the reason
It's
that gay marriage being legalized is important. So let's say you get sick or something like that, you get taxed, whatever, you get the same medical thing, you can visit them in the hospital.
Or
That's
even
really
if
why
like
it's
you were
important.
to
It's
lose
not
your
even about the
even
whole
if one were to
sacrament
die
thing.
and they lost the house.
All right, we got a
Yeah.
question. All
Oh,
right.
great.
Shout out to Cryptic Grin because they're always there for us, and they're like, "Yo guys, sorry I missed your last podcast. I've been sick. Really enjoying this episode
holy
so far.
shit.
The conversation has been great. Anyway, here's a question for you guys to debate. What do you think about human
Aw.
genetic engineering?"
Human
Oh.
genetic engineering. Well, that's where. Here's the thing. Where do we
Stem cell
start?
research kind of like
I have
I guess like
short-sightedness. I want that bio lens to give me 3 times
I
20/20
guess
vision. I fucking want it now.
it's I guess it can go anywhere because like a lot of people who are like a lot of people who disagree with it are generally like religious people, and they're like, "Oh well, you shouldn't mess with God's creation. You shouldn't like."
Fucking what if you're atheist?
So
Then what?
the only
It
thing
doesn't matter. I guess
Are
if
we
you're
talking about
atheist.
stem cell research or are we talking about genetic modifications?
Both, I guess, because it kind of falls under the same thing.
As far as stem cell research, I'm fully for it because, well, let's be honest, humans have always had a problem with the whole dentistry aspect because we can't regrow our teeth. However, stem cells will be able to take something that lets us regrow our teeth as the same way we would regrow skin if we were scarred or cut. In other ways, there's also, right, I think it's the human stomach or maybe it's the pig stomach that can fully regenerate itself
The
if it's
liver.
broken.
It's the liver.
Yeah, or it's liver.
Just organs in general.
The same way
No,
a
it's not
lizard would
organs in
No,
general.
yeah, I thought you meant like
No.
if we could make.
the same way a lizard can regrow its tail. So like for people who've lost arms, like amputees and all that, it would be fantastic because they could then regrow their arm back to the exact thing it once was.
Yeah, I agree for sure, because then that's like really great, and it's like I don't mind stem cell research. I'm all for stem cell research. I'm like 100% for that.
Enhancements like super hearing and increased vision, I'm kind of for
Shit
that,
like that.
but like increased strength and speed, no.
I want to be a furry human dog with a massive dick. I'm 100% for that.
Okay. I have something relevant. We can't test on humans because sentient life, you can't tamper with them. We can't test on animals because they're too innocent and shit like that. What do we test on? I mean, most of our medical advances are thanks to Nazi testing on Jewish captives and people in World War II. But people don't acknowledge that because that was 100 years ago, or that didn't actually happen, or they were Nazis. It doesn't matter. It's like, yeah, but Western people use it now. What do we test on? Everything causes controversy. There are vegans that are saying we should genetically modify predatorial animals to be vegan.
That's fucking retarded.
stupid.
It's like, yeah, if you want to destroy the entire biocircle.
Ecosystem. Just fucking wreck it.
Yeah, it's like fucking butterfly effect that shit.
My only question is,
Vegans
have you
are
heard that from
stupid
somebody that's over the age of like 25? Because it sounds like something some some college kid would say just to sound cool and radical. That is so fucking retarded. I can't
As they
even
fucking
like
sit on
wrap
their
my head around that.
MacBook and
To
fucking
suggest that
Starbucks.
college kids are
Yeah,
retarded.
exactly.
It's funny because it's like we're all like bashing college kids, yet like 2 of us aren't even like of age to be in college. I
Well,
will
some
be
college
next
kids
year.
are fucking ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie.
Um,
I've seen them around. They're completely
I'm not gonna
stupid.
lie, but I'm fairly sure that most of Tumblr wouldn't get into college.
Man, I
I
want
Most
to.
Tumblr is in college. They're
I'm gonna
pretentious
fucking
college kids.
make
They
a
pretend that just
Tumblr and
because they
share
took a
this
gender.
podcast all over the place.
I agree with William on that. Sorry, random. I
Oh,
agree
call me
with.
random.
Sorry, man.
Christ.
Well,
Damn
shut
it.
up. Anyways, okay, so I agree with random mainly because like that's rad and all, but it's like when it gets to the point of like, oh, do you want your baby to have blonde hair and blue eyes and like et cetera, et cetera? Like to that point, I think it's just I don't know. That's
That's
kind of
madness.
stupid. It's kind of dumb and it's not really necessary. So I think if it's not necessary, then you shouldn't like have to do it. Because if you're just trying to like create like a perfect like human or something, like I don't know. It's just kind of weird to me. It's kind of creepy, and it's like, what if someone starts fucking just making a bunch
Guys,
of
Speaking
kids?
of creating perfect people, what do you guys think of beauty pageants for children and
They're
actually beauty
fucking
pageants in
Fuck
general?
I
that
think that
shit.
if it should be natural beauty that's like promoted, because putting makeup on your kid and trying to sexualize it is absolutely disgusting.
child
I think
beauty
you should
pageants
like
should not be a thing.
yeah,
Same.
well, I think they
It's-
should be a
it-
thing.
it's-
It's just a fun thing.
No.
But if you take your kid and you're putting them in makeup and trying to make them look older and you're sexualizing your kid, I think that's wrong.
I
I think
think-
you should have pageants, but they should be for natural beauty,
I
not
think-
It
all
should
this
be for
puffed
like
up crap.
being a beautiful kitten,
Yeah.
being a
I
beautiful
kind of
like
don't
child
support
man.
it because then it's like, oh, we got all the pretty kids here, and then it's just like, but those are the ugly ones over there.
I
Look at
am.
Then
It's
I
like
think-
we
Look at
able
them
to make it
slobber
into the
and pick their
pageant.
noses.
I am HO. I
We
personally
need more
think.
comedy.
Shut up. I personally don't mind like the whole makeup thing, like the sexualizing thing. Like that's a no. I think that's gross. But it's like if your kid wants to make makeup, that's fine. Like whatever. But like
well, what
if
I mean is that
just hang on for just hang on. Just let me like finish my point. But like the thing is like when your kid starts like crying because they didn't get first place in a like beauty pageant, then I think you need to like stop and like remind them that it's not the worst thing to happen in the world. And I think it's also like extremely important to tell your kids that like your beauty's not gonna last forever, like especially for like females because of the thing is that a
As if
lot of
elderly men get sexier and sexier, like.
well, no, it's just that like in like at least in Canadian and like American society, like women are encouraged to be like sexualized and they're not really encouraged to use their brains. They're more or less just encouraged to use their bodies to get the things that they want rather than like their smarts. Like
Yeah.
my mom always says this. She's like use your brains to prove a point, not your breasts. And it's like that's a really good point. Like I don't know, it bothers me. I guess I don't know. I don't know if it
I
made any
agree
sense.
with that too, but I think competition is very good. I think we've become as a society so and we've indulged ourselves in the idea that everybody is special and unique and great. I think competition is something that needs to be emphasized more often instead of everyone gets a trophy
sure,
just
for
for
sure.
being there. I agree with that, and I think pageants aren't bad, but at the same time, when you're putting makeup on your kid, like I saw this Dr. Phil where this person's putting stick-on eyelashes on their kid. You know there's toxic stuff in those, and you're not supposed to use those in certain circumstances. That must be painful, and they're plucking their kids' eyebrows. It's just like, come on.
Well,
You're
yeah.
not supposed to do that to your
Like
kid.
some of these kids go to like the extremes. Like I think if it's just like like a little bit of eyeliner here, some mascara, like that's fine. But like if
Well, of course.
if it's like fucking cake up where it's like 5 pounds of makeup comes off your
Keiko.
If
I
you're
know,
like
I was
redoing your
marveling at
kid's
that.
entire facial features by putting contour on them or something like that, you're basically telling them, hey, you're not beautiful without makeup. If it's like a little bit of stuff, like a teeny bit of
Yeah.
eyeshadow just for fun, maybe some face paint, maybe some flowers, have fun with it.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
The
But
biggest
when
that's
you're
fine.
problem I
redoing your
have with
kid's
these
features, it's
is
disgusting.
how we do, like, how you get that sort of, like, okay, you always see society, like, shit on pedophiles of all sorts, right? You'd be there, you'd hear everyone angry with them. But it's like, is it really fair to be angry at them when we sexualize children?
Yeah, like think
Like,
about
Yes.
I
it.
mean, that's like putting the guilt from us to them. It's like,
Well,
that's...
I can
yeah.
depends on
It's
where-
no doubt terrible, but sexualizing children is just as bad.
I can see where you're going with that, and it's
Horrible.
like I personally like with the whole like just going back to like more on the topic of like beauty pageants. I personally just think like the the problem with like putting like so much makeup on your kid is that's also teaching them that they're just not like that's also teaching them that they're not beautiful the way they are, and I personally think that's wrong. Like I think that if like I think you should raise your kid to be confident. If you're gonna raise them in any way, they should be confident and they should be happy with the way they look. Not like, oh, I always look like shit unless if I'm wearing like fucking
You
all
know,
this makeup and shit. And it's like I don't know, cause it's like I'm gonna be 100% honest here. Like I kind of struggled like with being insecure a lot of time. I still struggle with it. Like I'm a very shy person, and it's mostly because of the fact that like I don't know. I always took interest in the things that other people didn't, and I was never really included in a lot of groups because of that, so I didn't really have many friends growing up. But the thing that I'm very thankful for, like, about my mother is that, like, regardless of, like, how much time I spent by myself, she was like, oh, you're still, like, brilliant, you're still really smart, you're still, like, gorgeous and shit, and, like, that's something that I can really thank my mom for. Like, sure, we get into fights and shit, but, like, I'm really thankful that she taught me to, like, I don't know, like, to,
Aw. Feels.
yeah,
Welcome to
Yeah,
feel.
but
Welcome to Dead
Weekcast.
Feel Club.
Yeah.
Feelcast.
Dead Fuel Club.
Featuring William and Feels.
you know,
That's the name of my band.
But
William
yeah,
and Feels.
it's just like I don't know. I'm just glad that she
fucking
taught me to
William.
like not take things for granted for about myself. I guess.
yeah.
I
You
don't
know,
know.
one fucked up
That's
thing is that
actually just a sign of a good parent. I think.
some parents will go to the extreme of the whole don't treat your kid like they're a special snowflake thing and never tell their kid they're beautiful, and their kid will grow up with all these problems and like not say anything. Like, for example, my grandparents actually admitted to me a couple of years ago, okay, we never believed in calling you beautiful because we didn't want you to grow up to be a stuck-up bitch. And I'm just like, well, fuck you, I have all these problems, I hate the way I look, I think I'm a fat ass hoe, and you guys are wondering why. Now, my mom, on the other hand, didn't do that, but my grandparents are like, yeah, we didn't like giving you compliments. And my grandparents raised me. That's why that's relevant.
I
And
feel
my
like
mom.
I feel like there's a difference between calling your child beautiful and calling them perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because
there-
then there's where you get the delusions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because when
Like-
because as you grow up, eventually you know, like, yeah, of course my family's gonna call me beautiful, but it helps my self-image. People,
Yeah.
they think that I'm worth something. It's good for you. But then they're like, oh, you're perfect. Nothing is wrong with you at all. You're amazing. Blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
that's where it's like
That's
no.
where you start getting like the superiority complex.
Basically, my whole thing is like encourage your kids when they're doing something good, but if they're being a little shithead, call them the fuck out on it. Like, don't let your
Yeah.
kid be a little cunt.
One of the things I hate is that in America, some of these parents will train their kids to believe that they're the most perfect fucking thing on the planet. So these dumb bitches grow up to believe that they're perfect and they deserve everything and they're entitled to everything.
I
have a
also
And treat
question.
you
fucking
like shit because of it.
Oh, I also fucking hate parents that are like, "Oh, my kid could never do something like that." Like, bull fucking shit. Like, every
Oh,
person
like that
is
Sid thing.
the
Like it's the
the
like.
man in the woods.
Oh, what was it?
The man in the
Yeah.
woods. Yeah, I'll make sure to put a
Yeah.
link up, an annotation link up on about that. It's a short animation film. Whoever's watching should definitely check it out. It's super rad. But anyways, it's like,
It
basically
was
it's
like
just
overactive imagination, possibly, but my kid could never lie. And it was just like, see, that's the problem. If you don't believe your kid could lie, then you're pretty much taken in by them, which
you're
Then
pretty
means
much
they
a shitty
control
parent.
you.
You're pretty much a
Yeah,
shitty
what I
parent.
hate too is
You're
that
the puppet.
There's
What
Yeah.
I
there's
hate-
there's a couple ways that this works. Like, your child can be so well behaved that if something goes wrong, they'd never be the one to blame. But then there's
Yes.
also the double-edged sword, because if they're found out that they did something wrong, they're going to get severely punished
you know,
in comparison to like a child who always messes up, so they're expected to do it.
you know,
Yeah.
a good example of that is that actually happened recently.
Same to me.
I've always had very bad social issues. I had selective mutism for a long time in my life, so my mom's like, "Oh, there's no way my daughter will ever do weed. There is no way she doesn't have the social ability to do that." And then all of a sudden, she found out, and she's like, "What the fuck?
What's up?
I never
social
knew. I
mutism?
never knew. Fuck you. What the fuck?"
What's social mutism?
You mean selective
I mean,
No, it's not
mutism?
social. Selective mutism.
Oh,
It's. Do you know what that is?
no, I do not. I'm
It's
sorry.
where you're very loud in certain situations, but in other situations you can't talk whatsoever. Like in the third grade, I could not talk in class. I couldn't.
Oh.
No one could force me. I couldn't do it. I couldn't physically bring myself to talk. But when I was alone on the playground with my friends, I would fucking yell my ass off.
Hashtag
Um,
growing up shy. Have you seen those posts on Tumblr?
Yeah,
I relate to them so hard. It's like fuck. But anyways, random. What do you have?
Someone mentioned something. Go on.
I don't know. I thought you were gonna say something.
No, someone mentioned something. I've forgotten what it was. I think it was something when Shomu said a double-edged sword about. What was it?
a double-edged sword about teaching your kid to be humble or something like that, or is it something else?
Oh,
What was the
yeah.
point I was trying to make that I probably totally butchered?
Oh wait, I have something I'd like to bring up.
Okay.
If your
Go
child,
on.
some people, I have a friend who, even when he is completely, entirely, 150% in the wrong, overreacting, being a horrible person, but he has like a mental thing. He has, I believe, Asperger's and dysphoria and stuff, but he acts completely fine around his friends, but around his like mother and stuff, he gets away with everything. That
Oh,
my child has issues, so they're not to blame.
Fuck that mentality. I
I hate
hate
that.
it. I fucking hate it. Cause actually, there was this kid who used to go to my elementary school. His name was Morgan. He had Asperger's syndrome. Um, he was very violent and would get mad very easily. He had anger issues due to his Asperger's, and it would get to the point where he would get physically violent with the kids. And due to that, none of us wanted to hang out with him. And as a
And then he
result,
gets more upset.
yeah, and as a result, what would happen is he would like go and tell the teachers he was like, oh, like no one, everyone's excluding me, they're being a bully and shit like that. And then it was like fucking shitty because then the principal called us out and she was like, oh, it's not very Christian of you guys to exclude people. And it's like
Oh,
he literally
God.
he literally fucking physically like hit people and punched people and threw
Still not
chairs
very
and
Christian
scissors
of
at
you.
people.
Jesus would have shown him the other cheek.
Yeah, it was stupid, and they would let him get away with so much shit just because he fucking had Asperger's. Like, he broke a kid's arm. Normally people would get
Okay, now
suspended
that's
or at
really
least
hard.
expelled for that. But
Yeah,
because he
shit.
has
I
Asperger's and
once-
because he's a special
Okay, wait.
snowflake, he doesn't get any fucking punishment at
Okay,
all.
first of all,
I
I'm just gonna say
don't
that
think that
really equally everyone should be treated with the same, but if they are sort of retarded,
Because
They
this
need
this
help.
this no this ends up with two
Actually,
different this ends up with two different problems on either end of the scale. Because the
Yeah.
kids with lesser autism, lesser Asperger's on that scale, they're expected to behave like little shits, while the kids on the very higher end get away with everything. But there's also another thing that happened that's directly related to this. When I was in Washington D.C. a couple years back, we had to be in groups of kids and everything, and I was with the aforementioned kid with Asperger's and whatnot. And
no.
the way he works in our friend group, we treat him like shit because we treat all of our friends like shit. We just constantly insult each other. But his mom starts hearing this and thinks we're excluding him or that we're ostracizing him. And
Oh,
she
God.
pulls me aside and starts telling me this. And because
Such
at that
a
time
friend.
I was over at their place a lot. They knew me very well. But it was when she started saying that, oh, you and I have some sort of a mother-son relationship, you should know better. My idea of a mother-son relationship is taking an entire discography of the Rolling Stones and going on a road trip and calling each other fucking shitty names. Because I don't come from a conventional
That sounds
family.
like bad, bad.
Like I do not come from a conformist family.
Mhm.
And not to be edgy, but when she said that, I flipped. I was done. I called her out. I'm like, you have no right to say that. You have no right to say we're ostracizing your fucking son.
So
Because we
American.
treat everyone in
you
our
have
group
no
like
right.
shit. And it's
Yeah.
like, I fucking walked away from that group and I went to see the Precious Gems exhibit and I saw the Hope Diamond and I enjoyed myself.
That's great.
It's like,
awesome.
you guys, people need to realize that friendship doesn't need to be comprised of compliments and happy fun times.
Well, yeah, look at me
my
and you.
ideal,
Exactly.
My ideal friendship is insulting each other and making dick jokes.
Yeah, sure.
See,
you
that's
fucking
what all
faggot.
me and my in real life friends used to do. We used to insult the living shit out of each other. It's just fun.
Me and Logan are really
Not
sassy
like
with
we're
each
being
other.
serious though. We were just being assholes. That's
Yeah.
what friends do. We be assholes together.
Me and Logan are super sassy with each other, and we make fun of people. Really off topic, but we had another ask 10 minutes ago, and I didn't notice. Sorry to Cryptic Grin again, because it was on the.
Shout out to Cryptic Grin.
We should
Episode 6,
we
special
should-
guest, Cryptic Grin.
we should have them as a guest though. That's a good point. Maybe we can have them on a
I said we were gonna.
Weekcast.
I said we were gonna have him as a guest on like week 2.
Yeah, I know. But
By the way, Ego
No,
Raptor
me
still in my
too.
basement.
okay. Okay, so this is the question. It says there's a debate that if we allow people to genetically modify their babies, only affluent families will be able to plant genetically flawless children, and it would in turn widen the gap of wealth and prosperity and inequality, and pretty much make poor people seem subhuman in comparison, which is a very good point because that's a plot of a lot of books that I've read, and it's really interesting. And I don't know. It's yeah,
And that's what will happen
that's very
if we
likely.
That
let
is very
money
likely.
dictate what alterations people can get. Then the people with the most money are going to put the most research and the most development into it, and as a result, get the most until what originally is expensive becomes less expensive. But that will still, like, so
That'll take a while.
let's say it costs $10 million to augment a baby to be like have an IQ of 300. So these people with all that money will be able to do it first and pioneer the engineering and everything. And after a while, then there's going to be like, what's going to cost 10 million? No,
hang on,
hear me out.
that's
Hear me out.
terrible.
Hear me out. So they're
Okay.
going to be able to get all that into all the funding and into that and research. So by the time that the 300 IQ costs like $50 to do, the $10 million is going to be like super strength or reading minds. You're always going to have that gap if it is based on money. That's how capitalism works.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how it's going to work in general. The more money you pour into something, the more research is going to
Okay,
get.
but
So the wealthier people get the
what if
most out of it.
what if that was like free to do? What if you could just be like, oh well, it's we know how to do it now. We're not gonna cost it. We're not gonna charge any money for it. What if it
Well,
was that?
the thing is, is that just a hypothetical, or
That's
is that
just a
something you will?
hypothetical. That's
Well,
just,
then you probably end up with the gap between people who believe that that's something you can do and the people who believe that you shouldn't tamper with people.
that's true.
Okay,
So
here's something
that's where
that's
the
kind
gap
of
lie
a
in
bit
morals
deeper
and
now.
beliefs.
Right, we
Let
can
Dear Yolk
sort
speak.
of. Okay, go on. We can kind of change. I don't think we should allow sort of genetic modification to kind of increase intelligence or increase X, Y, Z in babies. But for recovery, like as in if you look missing a limb and you want to regrow it or other things, I think that should be definitely looked into, or like dentist work. Like, you say you've lost a tooth, you could regrow the tooth then. I mean, that sounds amazing. Or if you went blind, you could regrow the eye or something.
If
I don't know how
these
that would work.
alterations we're
But
talking about aren't necessarily luxury as much
I
as
don't think like enhancements, but
so not,
recovery, yes.
yeah, not enhancement. If they're recovery, then I don't see any issue with that. The gap would exist, but it would eventually, like the ones that initially cost a lot will get passed down to the poorer people, and that will be helpful. So if there's a lot of money that needs to go into it, then I think I would be all in favor of letting the rich people get their hands on it first, because then by the time it gets to me, it'll be safe.
That's true.
I totally
Fucking
agree
Bill
with that one
Gates,
too.
fucking tentacle beast.
I want to be a tentacle beast.
I don't.
Okay, so here's one of the biggest problems with the humans, right? I mean humans because, well, it's really,
Humans
I
are
don't know if it
fucking
affects
assholes, and we
others.
should all die.
Right. No, no.
No, I'm
Well,
joking.
no, that's because we have a negative bias, but that's different. Right, so
I would
the
say
human brain,
Sorry.
the human brain is reprogrammable, right? As in, when people say, like, fake it till you make it, it's actually highly possible. You can do it. Like, if you, now I know this is going to sound like I'm whitewashing depression, but if you really put your mind to getting out of it, if you really tried, that's the biggest problem with depression, is it takes your mind out of trying to take your mind out of it. If you really tried to break it, you really said, fuck, I can't take this anymore. You went, exercised, you did everything, you faked smiles, you did it all. You can actually get rid of it because the mind is reprogrammable like that. But like, then there's the whole made to fit the mold thing. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, as in, there's like a kid who's always acted the shithead. He's a total shithead. So the teacher expects him to be a shithead. His parents know he's a shithead. They treat him like he's a shithead. His friends, he's a shithead, right? What's he gonna do? He's gonna grow up to be a fucking shithead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the
So
kind of
kind of like a self-made prophecy is what you're getting at.
Yeah, it's sort of like,
Yeah.
great gods, shithead.
Well, that's
this
like-
is your destiny.
Well, that's
You
like
must fulfill the dickheadness.
That's
You
kind of-
must
that's-
be the best shithead you could possibly be.
that's kind of an interesting topic because my brother Adam, he's really into like spiritual healing, and it's not necessarily, well, it kind of, I guess it kind of is, but it's not It's like he believes in like the crystal gems and like chakras and shit. And if you guys don't know what chakra is, it's basically like where different points of your body have different types of vibrations and energy that are given off by them. And
I've dealt with those people before at
you
festivals.
can like heal yourself, etc., etc. And basically, it's like there's like videos of these like they're like in these Asian hospitals, but they're these spiritual healers, and this lady has like a tumor in her bladder or something, or cancer or whatever, and it shows in like live time, and they're like sitting there chanting around this lady, and then her tumor disappears, and it's like, what the fuck? And then you're like, holy shit, how can that happen? And it's like, they say it's because if you can train your mind to harness that energy, and then you can use that energy, you can heal other people as well as yourself. So that's kind of
Placebo effect. Placebo
I
effect. If the
don't
human
know how
mind,
entirely true it is.
if the human mind persists hard enough, it can accomplish a lot of things.
yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. One of the funniest things about like a whole, okay, the faith healers, I'd actually murder one if I ever met one. I personally see them as worse than fucking murderers. I can't take them.
Because
But
because their beliefs end up killing people. Fucking
yeah,
alternative
and it
medicines and
just
shit.
boils my blood
E.g.,
because they're
see
so
Steve
innocent.
Jobs.
Was he a faith? Oh God. Okay.
He
But
died because he had like a cancer, and he chose
yeah.
alternative medicines. And by the time he went to conventional, it was too late.
Yeah, I hate that. But anyway, so the thing about the human mind is it's quite powerful and also quite fucking stupid, let's be honest. But it's quite powerful. So if you truly believe something, right, emotions can change your perception of life, of everything, right? If you truly believe you're an ugly motherfucker, then you're gonna end up believing it. You're gonna end up thinking it. You're gonna low self-esteem, low fucking everything. Your whole world will go black, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you believe everything's great, now you could end up becoming one of those arrogant bastards. But if you believe everyone's almost the same and everything's good and everything's fine, then you could be very cheerful, right? You could almost be delusional, as the Japanese would put it. If you're very happy, the Japanese people think you're delusional to reality. Not trying to be racist, it's a stereotype, though.
Is that why you're so happy all the time? It's because you're always like, oh my god,
No,
look
it's
at this, look at that.
no, that's
He's just
completely
like
different. It's
random's
because I'm
like
quite
just
sad
drunk on
alone.
life.
I'm quite sad alone, so
I don't
when
believe
Oh.
that.
people
I do
talk
not
to,
believe
I'm
that.
happy.
Dear Yolk, you can
Yeah,
talk
that's
to
the
me if
thing.
you feel
None of my
alone.
friends would have ever thought I went through depression for a good while in my life. But
I'm almost
Random.
always talking,
Random.
but that's the thing.
You can talk to me if you feel lonely. I'm here for you, buddy.
it's okay.
I mean, you two are married, so.
True.
It's
By the
happened
way,
so
Cryptic
quick, too.
Grin's gonna be the best man at their wedding.
Please.
I'm winging
It's
him.
just imagine this
Episode
grinning
5,
fucker.
winging it. I'm winging him into the wedding.
Yes, good.
It's a her. Check your privilege.
Hey, it's not my fault I'm a white, cisgendered American, middle class
Check your
liberal male.
privilege.
Shut up,
Shit.
Scrub.
Ugh.
Anyways, um. Oh, okay. I have a topic that we can talk about. This is kind of.
We should change the name of this episode to the best episode, and just like stop recording after this. We've already hit our peak.
Never. Never gonna
Keep it
finish.
going. Fuck it. We've been talking forever. We still can talk, so
Yeah.
might
Okay.
as well. Might as well make up for the last episode, which sucked.
Yeah. Well, Random, you should come on. You should come on the show more often because you have you have different perspectives, and it's really cool to see what you think. And plus, like, you can pull topics out of your ass, so it's really helpful.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
Now, socialism. Oh, that's a terrible.
but
Throw that one in the
let's
for a day.
let's talk about something that I forgot to mention a while ago. But like, Caitlyn Jenner. Okay, so
Wait,
Oh,
hang on.
God.
wait. Okay, so I was on Facebook and I keep seeing people post this thing, and it's like it shows this soldier carrying like I guess like a wounded other soldier through like a desert or whatever, and it's like this takes courage, and then it shows a picture of Caitlyn Jenner under it, and it's like this doesn't take courage, and then it's like I don't know. How do you guys feel about shit like that? Like, how do you feel about the topic in
I
general?
gotta say
Okay,
something on that.
wait.
I totally gotta say something on that. I just,
Let Reverend speak.
uh,
Let the Reverend
I
speak.
just, you know, Caitlyn Jenner is a part of the Kardashian family, of the enterprise
God,
that is
is
the
she?
Kardashians. What she did when the fact that she was given access to these surgeries and blah 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 blah. Even if people did perceive her in a negative light and were transphobic about it, it wouldn't matter because she has a shit ton of money. She can do whatever she wants. She can get whatever she wants. The reason she got on Vogue is because she had connections. The reason she's getting all these spots because she has connections. Everything she's ever accomplished is all about connections. No normal trans person would be able to get those connections because she has access to those. Now, I totally disagree with the fact that she got the bravery award because what she did not take bravery. Yeah, it took bravery to come out to a certain extent, but like I said, it wouldn't
Yeah.
matter. She has money up the dick. That
Yeah.
didn't take bravery. The fact that she won that bravery award over a soldier is just absolutely disgusting to me. Call me transphobic for that, but she's not brave. She is not brave in the
You can't be
slightest.
called
Also, she killed a
transphobic
woman
for that.
because she was smoking and like driving in her car and not paying attention. She killed a woman. And
Okay.
she's suing to get out of it.
I
She is not brave.
Wait, you can't sue to get out of a murder.
I
Can
don't
you?
know. It was something like that. She's trying to
Welcome
get
to
out of it. She has some
America.
good ass lawyers. I don't know. I just heard about that.
I've heard it's like the O.J. Simpson. He just paid the living shit out of his lawyers and got away with 2 fucking murders.
Yeah,
Like,
that's basically
straight
what
up.
she murdered a woman, and she's getting away with it because she has money out the ass, and the
Okay.
lawyer just happens to be
personally,
Okay, right.
I'm glad that she came out, and I'm glad she had like the courage to do that. Obviously, I don't think that I personally don't think that she should have got the bravery award over a soldier. I didn't know that was the case. I thought it was just like, oh, I thought it was just like, oh, she got some sort of recognition or something, and then people got pissy about it over nothing. But if she got it over like a soldier, then I can kind of understand what it like.
she beat
What it,
out a quadriplegic soldier. And I agree, it does take bravery to come out. Being trans is a very
Yeah.
hard thing, and it's not
Yeah.
easy. It's rough. It's
Yeah,
rough. Even if
for
you are
sure.
rich, it's still emotionally rough on you and your family. I'm not saying that at all, but
Yeah, for sure.
she has the money to do whatever she wants.
Yeah.
She's not brave. She has free will because she has so much money.
Well, like not only that, but it's like I'm glad that she came out and I'm happy for her, but if that's the case, like if she won that over like some soldier, then I don't really think that should have been like given to her.
There are trans people who live their entire lives in fear of being bullied, of being beaten up, or even potentially murdered. There are countries where doing that is illegal and will immediately get you stoned to death. There are trans people who are halfway through surgeries or transitioning that ran out of the funding that they thought they would have to get it and are stuck in some sort of limbo. She has money out the ass to get the surgery and the transition, so getting changed is no issue. Coming out, sure, you're slammed by millions of people, but you can fucking wipe your tears with your hundreds.
Yeah,
I don't want
that's
to
what I'm
really
saying.
shit on her now for being
Call me, like
sort
I
of
said,
a millionaire or a
call me
billionaire or whatever the fuck she is.
transphobic. It's stupid.
Like
I don't want to shit on
I'm
her now
just
for being a millionaire, but I honestly don't think anything she did was brave.
It's
I mean,
not.
coming out as gay in the fucking 90s, now that's fucking brave,
Well,
right?
earlier,
'Cause-
yeah, like this is the 20th century. It's
Oh,
getting
yeah.
easier to do that.
yeah, it's
like,
getting easier to
but
do that.
being a trans person, I'm really not fully sure if that is. Now, look, it's gonna sound rough now,
Just
but
say
thinking
it.
psychologically, like deep psychologically, I'm not fully sure if that's another like reprogrammable mind or made to fit the mold, or just sort of I don't believe that I am a male, so therefore I must be a female, and not identifying it. I don't really want to shit on them, but I'm not sure if it's delusion.
Well, here,
Now, it could
there
be.
is a
Now,
there is a
it is
theory.
entirely possible.
Wait. Let
It
one
is-
person talk at a
It is
time.
entirely possible. It is a female brain in a male body. It's entirely possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there
But
was a
I
study.
think a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon and aren't really.
Yeah, for sure. Like for Tumblr, for example. Okay, this is why I say that
Tumblr.
if you're this is why I say that if you're trans, you have to have dysphoria of some sort, or you have to have like a want to change. Like you have to want to change in order to actually be considered validly trans. Because otherwise,
so
sorry, go ahead.
what if you want to be considered the other gender, or you feel more the other gender, but you don't want the change? What is that considered?
That's kind of to me.
Gender fluid?
No, that's completely different. You're retarded. But
Fuck off.
It's. I will explain to you what gender fluid is in a moment. But
Gender fluid is like where you can
just
feel
hang on.
one way or the other.
Yes, okay, you understand. But that basically, if you want like if you still have a want to change, but like wait, what was the question again? You said if you feel like you want to be the other gender, but you don't want to transition. Is that what the question was? Like what?
Isn't that just dysphoria in general?
That's well, like if you don't want to transition though, like I guess I can understand. I mean, I guess it like depends because like dysphoria can be just like a thought of like, oh, I dislike my body, I want to have a more masculine body, but it can also range to like I feel uncomfortable with people seeing me as this gender, etc. But like I guess if you're like I guess if you have like body dysphoria and like in a sense of like, oh, I want a more masculine body, but I don't want to get like transition. I don't want to go through transition, then I think that's kind of like a person with like depression or something, like refusing to take their meds, I guess. I don't know. Explaining things is difficult.
Random. We've talked about otherkin on literally every episode.
Okay, good. I was thinking, would it be a risky
I was
topic?
actually about to bring that up. Let's
yeah.
let me shift this like 2 degrees to the
Right.
left. If you
No,
have,
hang on, right. I was wondering if the whole trans thing and the otherkin thing are somewhat related.
That's what I was
No.
gonna
Some
say.
people
Like,
act
No.
like it is, some people act like it is, and it just depends on
that's
who
the
you
It's
thing.
talk
not.
to.
Here's
It's
the thing.
not.
Like,
I
it's
can
like the
tell
whole
you.
like cigarette to pot thing. Like, are we getting more dangerous? Like, where are we gonna draw the line from traditional straight marriage to now allowing gay marriage? Let's take this to trans territory. If trans becomes like just a normal thing, what if like Therianism, otherkin, like, what do you guys think that'll start getting accepted? What do you guys think on that?
No,
See,
because
this worries me now because
Eventually.
of the genetic enhancements. What if people start actually becoming like fucking tiger
Tri-gender
humans?
pyrofox.
That terrifies me. It's like we're gonna have the fucking Kajats from Skyrim walking around town. It's just be like the kids and whatever the fuck they are, like working in Tesco. Like, who the fuck is this guy?
All right, guys.
Him to get mad.
Red Savage. Gender dysphoria does not mean you have to be body dysphoric.
yeah, that's what I thought because I was like I'm not sure if it's just like body dysphoria, but I was like because I was thinking like well if you're just uncomfortable with people thinking like you're the gender that you don't identify with, then that I guess that would be considered dysphoria. So I was confused about that, but that does make sense what Red Savage said.
GG. Episode 6. Red Savage stars.
Is that one of
Trans-
your like? Is that one of your like people?
No,
That's from
I don't-
me. They
I-
fall on my fur.
I have like one person here.
Oh, cool.
Hey, we have 3 viewers.
So what about like plastic surgery? What do you guys think of that?
I
In
don't.
I
regards to
kind of
what?
want a nose job. I'm 100% for it.
Like, it's like I hate referencing this, but like I think it was Danny on Game Grumps that said like it's the difference between like getting something to fix a fucked up nose or a fucked up thumb.
See,
Versus
I don't
like it's like okay,
mind it.
wait, here's the thing: recovery versus enhancement.
Yeah.
that's
It's like the
thing.
difference between getting 3 extra boob sizes or like fixing a cleft palate.
Yeah.
See, yeah, I think fixing something is brilliant. That's fantastic. But getting a boob job, well, personally, I'm not for the whole boob
Okay,
job thing.
The thing
But
with
the
boob
thing
job
is,
thing
if it's good, you won't notice it. If it's
some
botched,
people.
everyone will notice it. Like
The thing
it's
with the-
people will know the bad from
Mhm.
the worst, from the good.
Anyways,
I'm gonna
Reverend.
have to disagree with
know.
that because sometimes people do need boob jobs because sometimes one boob is bigger than the other and it does affect their
well,
self-esteem.
That's different. That's recovery.
That's not enhancement. That's strong.
Because that's something wrong that can be fixed. If it's something that isn't wrong that they enhance, that's enhancement.
I personally don't really care because it's like it's your body. You fuck it up however you want. I personally don't give a shit. But if
Well, then should. Oh, sorry. Continue.
I was just gonna say,
Well,
but
then it's-
I was just gonna, I was just gonna say, I personally, I wouldn't get like plastic surgery myself because I don't know, the thought of going under the knife is kind of spooky to me, anyways. And it's like I don't
Yeah.
really have much, like I don't know, like I'm fairly comfortable with my body, I guess, in a sense. I don't know. It's
So,
just yeah.
quick question: makeup, then? What do you guys think of that?
It's
I'm
not
100%
permanent.
for it. I love doing my
It's
makeup.
it's not permanent. I really don't care.
Because
Yeah.
I'm really unsure of this because I think of it as it makes the average, well, since it's mostly used by females, it makes the average woman look much better, right? Which
Mhm.
Mhm.
is sort of I'm not sure if that's more poisoning to the male mind or the female mind, but
Well,
either way,
both.
it
Well,
then
the thing
could
is that
lower
women
the.
aren't doing their makeup for men.
It
Some
then
women,
could-
like, I just like doing my
Yeah,
makeup
but
just
is that
because.
poisoning then to us because we then judge women as a higher standard? Like, as in, if there was no makeup, would more women be considered beautiful than now? I mean, like, once you make people
That's
look
subjective.
better on average, does that
Enhancement
mean
versus
make
recovery.
people? Yeah, does
What
that
if you
make
have
people?
what if you
look
have like
worse?
nude makeup to help cover a lot of acne and stuff versus buckets and buckets of makeup to like make you fucking look like a facial butterfly?
Yeah,
See,
like you do
Patterns
your
and shit.
contouring to make you look thinner in the face, but you're
see,
fat
that's
kind
the
of thing.
thing. That's the thing. Does it then like make men judge girls to
Well,
be more
that would,
Here's
yeah.
what
attractive?
here's what I should
Well,
say.
yeah, it would.
If
It
you're
would.
for makeup, if you're for
Like,
makeup,
does it lower girls' self-esteem too if they don't have makeup?
if you're
It
No, not
depends.
really. I'm pretty uncaring.
It depends
Random-
on the person and how they're brought up, because it's like, if like, my sister does not wear much makeup. I never wear makeup ever. I hate wearing makeup because it's just, I don't. It's just like, it's dumb. It's like, it's really great to see that other people enjoy it and stuff, and that's fine. It's like, oh, you guys enjoy wearing makeup. That's cool. That's rad. If like, do your fucking thing. Whatever. It's like, it's not like it's gonna stick to your face permanently. Whatever. But it's like, I don't know. I guess it could. I mean, sometimes I feel really like, because like I mentioned before, I can kind of be insecure, and sometimes I do compare myself to like other people, and it's like, if I see someone who looks really good and they're like wearing makeup and it makes them look awesome, I'm like, man, I'd like to do that. But then I'm like, oh wait, I suck ass at makeup, and then I'm like, oh wait, fuck, now I can't do anything, and then I'm like,
There's
fuck.
like thousands of things on YouTube about that though.
But
About putting
well,
on
I
makeup.
know.
I think my sister taught herself.
Yeah, I
She even
know,
cuts her own
but
hair.
Can I
It's
say something?
I'm
Can I say
lazy.
something?
Go ahead.
This goes for makeup and this also goes for plastic surgery. If we all agree that you should have the right to fuck up your body or make your body look however you want, then should you have the right to be offended if people judge you for it? Or call you out on it or get upset that you're
You
acting
have the right to
fake?
be offended, but you shouldn't make a social movement out of it, like the fat acceptance movement. They're mad because people don't accept the fact that they made themselves fat.
Yeah.
It's their fault they're fat. Even if you do have PCOS, you can still lose the weight.
My fat is genetic. I'll have you know.
Okay, that one really bugs me.
I know.
Even if you're
As a fat
genetically
person.
fat, having a thyroid problem is extremely, extremely rare.
My grandmother
There
actually
are
had one.
things that
She's
make you
skinny
gain
as
weight.
fuck.
My mom has one.
There are things that make you gain weight, but you can still lose the weight.
You
It's a matter of effort.
You want to know the number one way to gain weight? You eat fucking
Depression?
food. You piece
Yeah,
of
you
shit.
eat a shit ton of food.
No. Hang on. There's a difference between eating food and consuming shit food. Like, if you aren't earning an awful lot, you're going to be buying cheap food,
Yes,
cheap
but you can eat
processed
it in
food,
moderation.
which is
You can still control yourself
desperate.
even if you're
No,
poor.
because it's not got a lot of like, I'm actually fairly slim, so I can't really judge people on this. But
There is that argument that you can't afford good food, and the
if you
reason
get
people are fat
good
because they're thin.
quality food, you're probably not going to gain as much fat as someone who's earning a lot
But at the
less.
Well,
same
then
time,
let me
there's
say
been a
this.
study done.
Like, as in,
Wait.
cheap chicken is gonna fucking make you big compared to fresh steak,
Cheap
fresh
chicken.
Irish grass steak.
Okay, so like, if you're poor,
Rare,
you can like
pretty.
get a lot of cheap fatty foods and sugary snacks and stuff, but like you can also live off of fucking ramen, which is high in sodium, low in fat.
Actually, yeah.
So
That's
let me say
horrible for
this.
you, though,
I know.
regardless.
Both ways are both horrible, but you're never entirely at fault for being fat. You might be at fault for having you might not be at fault. Wait, no, you're never not at fault for how you look usually, but you might not be at fault for just having a problem in general. So if you're
Taking pride
fat
in it's completely
because
different.
all of your low amounts of money go towards fat unhealthy food, then that's your fault because you can get instead of like buying fucking Twinkies and Swiss rolls and a lot of like bulky snacks like that, you can make better choices or at least do a lot of exercise to off balance it.
Let me say
That
this.
said, you can work out at any time instead of watching Dr. Phil for hours.
No.
Like,
The thing is that you
exercise
can't.
is free and easy.
Yeah, Reverend, stop
can't-
watching
you
Dr. Phil
can't-
for hours.
Yeah.
You can't outrun a bad diet. No matter what you do, a diet takes up 80% of what you eat. You cannot outrun a bad diet, no matter what you say. But the thing is that
You
I
do
am
need to
poor too.
modify your diet.
I can spend $20 going to McDonald's and getting a couple Big Macs, or I could spend that 20 getting organic food and making my own food and doing it. You mean organic food isn't that expensive? Yeah, if you pay for out of season fruit, it's going to be more expensive because there's less of it.
And
but
not
if you
even
buy the
eggs.
right things
Eggs
and
are
you figure
fucking
it out
top notch.
right, you
Always get
can.
eggs. Eggs are best.
Yeah, and you
Yeah, you can get healthy food for cheap. It's
Do
very
you know how
easy.
fucking cheap pasta is? It's high in
It's
carbs,
cheap
but
as
that's a
hell.
lot easier to work off than
You know
like
what's
fucking sugary sweets and fucking McDonald's.
you know
Chicken
what you
fucking-
guys could do?
some-
You could always just order a tapeworm online and eat that.
Oh, there were girls.
We could
doing
always
it.
shut up and let you speak.
Let's see.
I'm not being serious, guys. Just in case.
I know.
Dead Nightclub.
So
Why does it say episode 1?
Because it's
So,
a
This is the
Weekcast.
episode where we're featuring people.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, Gordon Ramsay went onto Reddit and didn't ask me anything. It was one of the best ones that have ever been done, and he spent hours and hours answering hundreds of questions in fantastic detail.
What a
Now,
great guy.
I'm actually gonna link it because he's
Gordon,
actually
Gordon Ramsay is class.
I love him.
Alright, you
Okay.
can link
This
it.
food is rotten.
You can link it,
no.
and
He
then
only
I'll,
does that for TV. He's actually he's such a kind-hearted man, off stage.
he just screams a lot.
That's because it's TV, it's drama. People love that shit. Once something's extreme and
I-
crazy and you can
Funny boo-boo.
condescendingly judge people,
I-
you'll watch it like it's
I
I really want
it's
to.
X Factor.
I would like to
Somebody
eat.
just brought up a good
Let
point
Otter
about
fucking
being
speak.
fat.
Wait,
And...
but
Okay.
let Otter speak.
shh.
Okay.
I was just gonna say I would like to have Gordon Ramsay cook me food, and then Reverend, you can go.
I'd like to have Gordon
Okay.
Ramsay guest star on this
Okay.
show.
What I was gonna say is somebody brought up a good point that I just thought of. What if having an eating disorder makes you fat? My only thing with that is if you have an eating disorder, it's the same thing as having a mental disorder. You have to recover from it.
You have to get
Even
treatment.
if it's binge eating, even if it's anorexia, you still have to recover from it. You just have to fix yourself. Either way, your appearance is based on your.
Actually, see, since the mind's reprogrammable like that, you could recover from that with hell-bent determination.
Too
like,
long, didn't
Even just,
listen,
like, when
get
you
good
eat,
at life.
you get a bit of dopamine, right? Going to the gym, people
Yeah.
can get addicted to going to the gym because they get a bit of dopamine. They get a bit of
Adrenaline, I thought.
Yeah.
Not dopamine, adrenaline.
They
Dopamine
get
dumbs you
they
down.
get a dopamine, adrenaline. They get the whole fucking serotonin, the works, the smiles and everything.
And
Right?
they-
Have you ever heard of a runner's high? When people go running, they get like a little bit of a joy.
they get really
afterwards.
happy.
Yeah.
But I
So-
fucking go running and my side starts hurting and I start wheezing and I sound like a cat throwing up and I'm like, fuck
That's
this.
because
I'm like, fuck this, I want a Pepsi.
Me too.
that's because
So,
you
like-
need to exercise your lungs. I have that problem too.
And you,
It takes
like-
a while to get
That's
rid of
because
it.
you,
can't
but that's because you vape at 12,000 nicotines
Okay,
per second.
okay, even before that, even before I started
Fucking-
smoking like a madman, I still had that issue, okay?
And the thing is, like,
Actually, you know what?
look,
the best
the
time
way
to start
it's gonna
exercising is now.
take
Just
Yeah.
now.
fucking
Like,
right now, everyone, 12 push-ups
No,
during the podcast.
not even kidding. No, not even kidding. If you are wanting to lose weight, don't bother saying I'll do it tomorrow. Do it now. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
just
Just do
straight
it.
away.
Just
Because-
do it.
Like, because
Don't
if you
let your
don't,
dreams be dreams.
yeah. But if you don't, it'll be like 6 months later, and you'll be like, "Great, I've gained another 20 pounds," and it's like,
Yeah.
"Fuck, I
It's
regret
like if you really
everything."
want to do it, you're gonna do it. Don't
Yes.
say you're gonna do it when you're not gonna do it and you don't really want to do
Someone
it.
Don't-
once
don't
told me,
bitch to your-
never ever plan anything. Never ever plan anything.
Don't
Never
like
say,
don't
okay,
like-
on the 21st, I'm going to clean my room. Because you're not going to do it on the 21st. If you want to clean your room, you're going to be like, I'm going to clean my room now.
And then-
Right
Yeah.
fucking now.
Then you fucking drink bleach.
My room is a disaster.
Look, the thing is, take it from a fat person. You never want to just start out by fucking running a mile. I've done that before.
No.
I like one day I just got up. I was even like, I don't know if anyone else has an issue where like every time they feel sick, they suddenly get this burst of like inspiration. So you're like fucking coughing and throwing up, and you're like, I'm gonna go like run a mile. But I like was
No, I
sick
get
one
that
day,
sleep.
and I had that I should just do it now moment, and I fucking biked like 5 miles in one evening, and I never felt worse. And
I will.
Cycling's great.
You,
though.
you
Oh,
want to
cycling.
work up to something.
Yeah.
The best suggestion I've heard is push yourself to what you can do without like serious damage, and then every day do a little more.
Yeah. The
I've
other thing
been
with
told
that,
if you ever
Shormail,
wanna
is a
do, like,
personal
push-ups,
suggestion. You may want to
If you
just lift some weights or something like that and do like
Yeah.
low lung capacity exercises. That's what I've been doing. It works so much better, and you still get the same workout.
I'll talk to you
If
about
you're
that.
having lung
I've got this
capacity
app called
issues, you're gonna want to do
7,
that.
which does a 7-minute workout, and it's actually good because you only push
Yeah.
yourself as much as you want to, and you push yourself more and more. Like as you go, you can buy more things, which are cheap as shit for me, but anyway, because like I don't spend my credit on really anything other than internet data, and I have unlimited for a month, and it just goes like instantly once the month is over. So I just buy stuff with my credit. But anyway,
If you need internet, I'll buy it
It's
for
really
you.
good.
I'll write stories
No.
and buy it for you.
I
I don't want to see you. I don't want to see you go, Rand. You're my best friend.
No.
Random, please.
You're my best friend.
Yeah.
How
You
far
better
are
still
we? We are
Snapchat me. We're past an
one.
hour.
Jesus, hour 40 minutes. Nice.
Oh, dang.
Sweet.
Let's just keep going.
Yeah.
Fuck it,
Make
let's
up
go
for
for
it.
3
Make,
hours.
So
make up.
exercise
I
is
don't
a
know
huge
how late I'm
thing.
going to be able to do
The
this.
biggest hit to the drug industry so far has been the trending exercise thing, and well, especially here in Ireland, and I think England too, probably the rest of Europe. But I'm not sure if it's a hit over across the pond.
Probably not.
But
The pond.
basically, exercise and getting fit has been trending like a fucking. It's crazy,
Not
right?
in
Everyone was doing.
America.
So
yeah, in America, fat
that was the
acceptance
biggest
and
hit to
body
the drugs
positivity is what's
industry
trending.
in ages, right? People were like, nah, I can't be I can't be drinking booze, I can't be taking
I have a
weed.
question.
You've got to work out.
I have a
What?
Gotta
question.
get that summer body to fuck bitches, get money.
What?
So it seems to be somewhat accept. Okay, so shaming. Let's go into that issue real quick because there seems to be this like growing debacle about like the legitimacy of like telling someone to like, oh, maybe you should like have better choices in life, like smoking versus like eating habits. Like if you can
You know
just
what?
if like the legitimacy of or if you should just shut your mouth and not say anything about it.
You know,
Because
I'll say this.
there seems to be a non-smokers etiquette where you're not allowed to say anything about people who smoke, like to
Oh,
their
that is
face.
not true in California. People have called me out and said you're disgusting. And it's like, well, you're overweight. Which is worse? Honestly, I'd rather die with a black lung than I would fat.
Diabetes can wreck you. Something.
Diabetes.
Yeah, I'll take a black lung over being fat, honestly. I've had people come up to me and say, you're disgusting for smoking. You're smoking around kids. You're smoking around this. You're doing that. It's wrong. It's
I
bad.
feel like
You're bad.
I feel like
Kids
I
is
feel like
another
you shouldn't
question.
smoke around kids.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
do that. I wasn't even around kids.
Mhm.
Somebody walked up
Or
to me
like-
with their kid.
But there's also a difference between like going to a fucking like schoolyard and fucking whipping out your cigarettes and
Oh, yeah,
or like
yeah, I totally
being
agree.
by
You don't do that.
yourself and
About-
like being by yourself and a mother and her child going by and just like you're smoking around my child. How the
Yeah,
fuck
somebody
could
did
you?
that to me, and I was
Or
in my
smoking in
car.
a
My car is
car.
my own personal property.
Yeah,
I don't
what do you
go
think
to
I'm
like.
gonna
Wait,
fucking
maybe you
do?
shouldn't
Hot
smoke
box
in the
of
car with
tobacco?
other
Guys,
people.
can we have one person talk at a time?
That's not
No.
how podcasts work. Everyone
The
scream at
podcast
each
is to
other.
cause difficulty to the hearing of others.
Literally, I'm just sitting here knitting quietly, listening to you guys, and all I hear is, "Well, the car's smoking," and I'm just like,
Basically, what are you, my grandmother?
and I'm
Trust me,
just,
you just gotta watch it a couple more times and you'll get the hang of it. Smoke or booze, smoke, and metal.
So-
Yes, and
yeah.
yes. Yeah, sure. Speaking of metal, I went to a metal concert once, a death
Oh, yeah.
concert.
no one
You
fucking
were
cares.
saying about judging people or something like that. What was it, Sharmu?
That like, there's
No, what were you
like
saying?
people. There's in some places like it's okay to like call a smoker out on their shit, but you can't call a fat person out on their shit.
I will totally call a fat person out on their shit.
No, but like,
if they
what
call
do you
me out
guys what do you guys
something.
think about
I
that?
have no mercy.
I
I will
Um,
totally. If somebody comes up
I-
to me and they happen to be fat and they say I'm a disgusting smoker, I say, well, you're fat. Honestly, I'll take a black lung over being fat and immobile.
Okay, wait,
and
then
trapped
that's
in
just
my
trading insults.
TBH,
Well, I'm an asshole. I can't help it.
if you can dish
I-
it, if you can
that's-
dish it out, you should be able to take it. Because if you're gonna
Yeah,
sit
that's-
there and judge a bunch of people and be like, "Oh, you fucking disgusting smoker! Like, how dare you? Oh, you disgusting stoner piece
Yeah,
of
so-
shit!" And blah blah
So
blah.
here's the
That is
situation.
more of an
300
epidemic in America than
three-
smoking.
350-pound person shits on someone for smoking and immediately gets chastised for being fucking like obese, even if it's from like the smoker telling them they're obese. And then like
Hey,
it
you're gonna call me out, I'll
seems
call you out.
it seems like
How
in
did
this
this guy figure out the passcode into this place?
What?
Stupid cunt. I had a code, please.
Anyways.
This guy
like
figured
I
the code.
Reverend, like I said, use the C word on the first episode.
Fuck him. What a wanker. Stupid bollocks freaking dick. Can't believe I gave him soul sand. Well,
Let's
fucking
go
Joe.
from abortions to
Anyway,
gender equality.
So
to
yeah, I
fucking
couldn't give a
cigarettes
shit
to-
about insulting anyone really because I don't feel that judgmental towards people. Although I do.
I'm
I can't.
kind of a
I don't take
fan, though.
fools.
won't
I don't
lie.
take fools well. But if someone has like some sort of fucking, I don't know. There was a guy earlier who I spoke to who had this fetish for anime girls, except they were half snakes, so their legs were from their waist down. They were snakes.
Nagas.
Some sort of yeah, something like that. No, a naga apparently is different. It's something like a liam.
Oh.
Anyway, I don't really give a shit what he's interested in. I honestly don't care. If someone is gay or black or fat, I don't give a fuck.
What if he's
It
gay,
really
black,
don't
and
concern me,
fat?
right? If
The
someone
Magnity
is a
Man.
fucking,
Oh,
if someone's an
dang.
idiot though, then I'm judging them. If someone's an asshole, then I'm gonna judge them.
Yeah.
I don't mean
I'm
like
not
an
gonna
idiot
lie.
as in being wrong and wanting to know. I mean calling someone out and
I'm not
being
gonna
fucking
lie,
wrong.
I'm
I
a very
have a-
judgmental person, and like if I see a fat person in public, I'm like, oh, they're so gross, but like I wouldn't say that to their face.
I
I
am
think
a very judgmental
that's like
of
blowing your
fat
own
people.
trumpet to try and be better than them, even though you're only belittling themselves to grow your own
Oh, I
ego.
know. I'm
For
not
the
trying.
most part,
I'm just a dick.
I just ignore
think
people
that-
for the most part unless they piss me off, and then I'm judgmental. But I do have a personal problem with fat people. I'm not gonna lie. I've grown up around morbidly obese people. I'm watching my grandparents kill themselves. I am not very happy with it. And if somebody tries to tell me that being fat is perfectly okay, I will go off my rocker and get pissed
I'm
off.
not gonna say it's perfectly okay, but it's not okay to judge them.
It's
Well, of course it's not okay to
it's,
judge, but if somebody harasses me, I'm gonna harass them back.
It's
'Cause I'm
not
just that
okay.
kind of
That's
Okay.
different. That's
It's not
passing an
okay.
asshole, not an obese person.
It's not okay to be. It's not okay to be like, oh, you're fucking ugly because you're fat, because that's like wrong, and like that's like body shaming, and like
Well, of course.
I think you should love your body, but like fatness is also like very
You need to
unhealthy.
become. Well, part of loving your body is accepting that you have problems. Like, I'm not fit. I'm trying to get fit, and I
Yeah,
accept that I am
same.
overweight.
Like
Loving
I'm.
your body is taking care of your body.
Yeah, like see,
And yes, it's kind of other people's business either.
I am skinny as fuck, and I have really bad eating habits. Like generally, 90% of the time, I forget to eat, and that's really bad. And like no one ever calls me out on shit because I'm skinny, and that's
Okay,
fine
so
by me. But the thing is that like I also know that I have issues with eating, and I know that I have issues with being fit and stuff. So I need to get my ass in shape and stop being a lazy piece of shit. So
I'm not sure
I
about
think
you guys, but where I come from, throwing compliments is a lot more common than throwing insults.
no,
Welcome
fucking
to America.
Seriously?
Well,
Are you kidding?
Yep.
I was in a
Canada.
pizza place with my friend Keith, right? We're having a fucking laugh. We come in there smiling, it's like, hey, can we get pepperoni? And it's this, right? The guy goes to us, like, we go there often. He goes, hey, why are you guys, like, always so happy? It's great to see you guys. It's like, how are you always so happy? It's just like, I don't
Actually,
know,
wait,
it's
wait, wait,
fucking-
wait, 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 wait. I can actually
then,
counter this
like-
because,
Well,
like,
then,
the-
like,
Go,
we'd,
go.
like, my friend, my cousin would come up to me and, like, instead of, like, going, like, Jesus, you look like shit, he'd be there, like, were you lifting? And I was there, like, well, not kind, not really. Goes, arms look a bit bigger. And it's just there, like, so, like, you're looking like quite a tank, too. And, like, fuck it, to be fair, he is.
I was on the giving end of a situation similar to that. When the last year when I was in the summer program that I got kicked out of, at the fucking cafeteria thing, it was like more of a diner, pretty much a buffet. They weren't there this year, unfortunately, but they were there last year, and it was basically this really huge, probably middle-aged, burly black dude, and like juxtaposed against this like 5'4" albino ginger dude. Like you would never like if you just saw them in a picture, you'd get like a media outcry, like the whole fucking interracial marriage commercial people shat on. But like these
What
two
is this,
were
like?
the funniest bunch. Like I remember one of the stories is they were talking like he's like when he was running the ice cream stand because a lot of people say that you shouldn't ask waiters if you can get something. You shouldn't like, can I have this?
Oh.
And he was saying that one time I was at the ice, or I'll be him. He's like, one time I was at the ice cream stand and someone's like, "Can I get chocolate?" And I'm like, "No, you don't deserve it." And they just, like, he just do shit like that. And the other guy
Yeah.
said that one time when he was running the stir fries, someone asked for like a few things. He's like, "Can I have that?" And he's like, "No, get out of my line." And the woman just left. She just got out of the line and left. Not even
What?
angry.
How could you
He's just
take
like,
it so
"No." He's like, "No,
seriously?
you can't have that. Get out of my line." Just left. But these two were always coming up with the funniest shit.
I
Like,
was like a Russian
funnier
guy
than
in
all of us
Subway.
that aren't funny. Like, funnier than all of us, all of our not funny.
I had a Russian guy in Subway, right? And he was
Russian,
like he owned the
mm.
place, and I can't pronounce Chipotle, I think it is,
Yeah,
right? But I
Chipotle.
called it Chipatelli, okay, or whatever the fuck.
Chipotle! Mac
Anyways, so I was saying like, can I get the Chipatelli sauce, right? And he's just there like, no, it's like the Chipatelli chicken, please, and he's just like, no, it's like Chipotle. Like,
Mac
oh right.
Chipotle.
So then afterwards,
Chipatelli.
he's buying, he's like just checking the roll, like I have to pay for it. And he goes like, "What's this again?" And I was just like, "It's the chip and the sauce." And I just like point there. And he's like, "Oh, I'm really fucking with you." Oh, but I was fucking screaming.
Oh my god.
But I love it when people are like really kind to you in public. So like I kind of have this thing where I always want to go whenever I am out in public. Very rarely out in public,
I've
looks out the
always
window.
stored a car directions
Anyway,
so people tell
if I
me
am
it's
out in
small
public,
tickets.
I try and always make at least one person smile, just one randomer
Aw.
smile.
Oh, you're random though. So what if you
Yeah,
smile? Is that
but like that's just sort of a
that-
thing I want to try and live by.
See,
That's really,
So-
really admirable. Like, that's really, really
respect
kind of
you.
you. I like people like that. That's pretty
It's
cool.
just too
See,
difficult
it's
to do
like-
that for people in the U.S. sometimes because like
They're
Ah.
assholes.
you say something to a stranger and you get shat on for talking to a stranger. Like, do I
Yeah.
know you?
see, it's like
But I wanted to finish this real quick. The two guys that were so funny, I told them, I'm like, you guys should be a comedy group. I would fucking pay money out the ass to see you two do shit. And I didn't see them this year, so I like to imagine that they went on and did stand-up comedy. I just haven't heard of them yet.
See, it's like in Canada, it's like I receive like compliments sometimes when I'm out on like outside and shit, and it's like I give compliments when I'm given a compliment as well. Like I'll compliment someone back, but it's like
Yeah.
generally I'm like a very shy person, so I just don't talk to people unless if I have to. So unless if I really need to talk to someone, I won't like talk to them, or unless if they have like an article of clothing that I really like. Um, fucking mute your
What are you
microphone if you're going
doing?
to do that. Jesus Christ. But um,
Hey, we're in fucking hour 2. Come
that's fine.
It's completely cut across after.
But there's I remember one time I went out with my mom and we were going grocery shopping in like Walmart, and there's this guy and he was older and he had like a shit ton of stuff in his arms. And then he like came over to me and my mom and he's like, "Hello, you beautiful ladies." And I was like, "What the fuck?" Like I was so creeped out because it's like I'm not used to getting complimented because I'm a very like I don't really talk to people, so I don't.
Oh yeah, I've had people like that.
And I was
there's this-
so creeped out, and I was like so creeped out, but he was actually just genuinely being really nice. And then he dropped something. He's like, "Oh, sorry, can you pick that up for me?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And my mom was like, "Go pick it up, don't be rude." And I was like, "Oh, but like, oh, I have to talk to people." And then
Did you was that at a Walmart you said?
yeah,
So you fucking
So
get like
strange.
nice compliments out the ass, and I get McDruggy telling me that I can liberate myself on the 4th of July by meeting Jesus. Did I
Oh
tell you
my
that
God.
story, random?
Meet and greet with Jesus backstage.
Long story short,
It's
some
only
fucking
50
dude
quid.
sitting in the middle of an aisle. I went to get some peanut butter and shuffled past him, and then he's like turned around and he was right standing up. He's like, "Did you know?" He's like, "How was your 4th of July?" I'm like, "Good." He's like, "Did you know you can reach true liberty by finding Jesus?" And I'm like, "You're talking to the wrong guy," and I left. Fucking Otter gets the best Walmart people. Reverend works at Target.
I remember one
Ooh.
time my mom bitched out this lady at Walmart, and it made me very upset, and I was very embarrassed, and I had to leave, and then my mom bitched me out later about it, and I was like,
Oh dude.
She's like, "Why don't you ever stand up for me?" And I was like, "Mom, no." I
I'm
was
waiting
like,
for your
my
mom
mom-
to get you out on the fucking podcast.
My
she
mom
actually
is
came
like
into my
that
room,
too.
and then I was like, "Shh, no, don't talk. I'm podcasting," and I told her to just
My
text
mom
me.
is. Oh my gosh, my mom is somebody like that. She'll bitch people out and be an asshole. But I'm just like, Mom, you need to chill. I mean, you were a minimum wage worker at one point too. And she's like, yeah, but I'm an executive shark now, and I could be an asshole if I want to be an asshole
She's
because
not
I have
wrong.
worked up the rungs. I'm just
Okay,
like, oh,
right.
Mom.
So
And
a few of my
wait,
friends
wait.
work in retail, and they will tell you that the demographic of the most cruel people are sort of
Rich
women
white women.
between the age of 35 and 45.
Yes.
Because
Yes,
they
I've
kind
said
of have
that
little
before.
kids, and they
Suburban
don't
white
really
women are
see them
hell.
as. Yeah, they're absolutely cruel. Apparently, the elderly women and elderly men, especially elderly men, are the most kind-hearted people in the world.
No.
They have so much respect, apparently. No, this
Yeah.
is where I'm from. So
Old
maybe not
people-
when in America,
Oh
where
yeah,
people
old
have guns
people
and
are
shit.
like shitty in America.
Teens are generally see you as the same, so they'll be like understanding. I'd imagine other people around, like sort of middle age, would be kind enough, but apparently a lot of people are just arseholes.
See,
Assholes.
teenagers here are nice to minimum wage workers unless if there's like those stuck up
Because they are.
snotty. Well, unless if
Unless they've
there's
never had a job, teenagers are nice to minimum wage workers.
I'm nice to people because I understand, because I know a lot of my friends always bitch to me about it, and I'm just like, I would hate to work in your job, so thank you for doing the shittiest job because I would never want to do it. Is kind of my whole
Yeah.
thing about it. So it's like, basically, if if I think I would hate that job, then I don't be mean to them. But like, I guess there's like certain circumstances where you can get mad at people, but it's like I don't know. I just try not to.
By
Yeah,
default,
of
I
course you
try
can if
to
they're
look
being
at
an
everyone
asshole.
as a good person, so I don't judge anyone negatively until I have a reason to judge them negatively.
Nice.
Well,
Like,
here,
that's
I wanted to
kind
say
of
something to
just how I
Reverend.
go.
When you said the whole thing about the executive shark your mother is, did you mean that like derogatively? Because I'm like, yeah, that makes sense what she said to you. Because you can only imagine that when she was starting working up the ladder, how many people shit on her.
She's a CEO. I literally mean executive, like aggressive
Yeah.
businesswoman.
And it's like, you're not going to get anywhere if you're not the aggressive business person.
Yeah, she's
Donald
working
Trump.
it. Yeah, she's aggressive as hell, and yes, she loves Donald Trump to death. But
So do you.
okay, I think he's interesting. I find him intriguing.
That's not what you were saying before we started the podcast.
Yeah, it was
And
sort
I
of like,
agree with-
oh, it's suck his dick.
It was
I'm
like,
kidding.
man, I'd love to get under Donald Trump's fucking toupee and lick his scalp.
God. I don't even have a rebuttal for that anymore because that was just too good.
End the podcast now. We're done.
No.
No. Okay,
Damn it.
that's a
God
great
damn it.
segue to these questions that we got from Cryptic Grin. Shout out to them. Okay.
Fucking shout out to Cryptic Grin. We love you, man. You're like the sleek to our podcast.
Yeah. Okay,
You're our
so
over supportive parent.
if you guys really want me on the podcast sometime, I'm 100% okay with this. Just send me a note in DA or something. I can do that later. We can chat about healthcare and rare disorders and such. I've got I don't know how to fucking pronounce that. So I have a ton of experience with stuff like that. Sounds like it could be interesting. And then they sent a second question 4 minutes ago, and it's like, I've been gaining a lot of weight recently because of my growth hormone shots decreasing my thyroid levels, and I'm really afraid to be seen this way because I'm retaining water and stuff. Because of this culture, I'm always
Growth
afraid to
hormone
go
shots.
outside because I don't want people to think I'm just a lazy fat ass.
I've read a little bit
Let
on
the
her
fat
illness.
people answer this question.
She has to take special things because I think I read on it, she lacks something genetically, so she has to take growth hormones. My only opinion with that is, yeah, that happens. I mean, same with birth control. You do gain weight on birth control. I didn't mean,
didn't
like,
know this.
when I made all those comments about fat people, it's not, I'm saying genetic issues are rare. The thyroid thing is rare. What you have is very rare. I'm not saying that you're at fault for that. I'm saying people that say, oh, I have my thyroid.
It's like the whole gluten-free thing is like, oh, I'm gluten-free. It's like, do you have celiacs? No. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That doesn't help you.
That's a whole other thing. You're definitely not at fault for that. But if you do want to lose weight, just lose some weight. I mean, some people act like, I don't know, some people are very entitled about it. I don't mean people like you at all. You're very kind. I love talking to you on DeviantArt. You are not
wait
mean
a
at all.
second, hang on. I think you're only hating on fat people because they hate on you. Because they kind of. I'm gonna. No, just because if someone calls you out about smoking, it's probably because they have something that they are easily offended about. So they're trying to belittle you in order to make
that's the
themselves
classic,
better.
like, that's the bullying trope, like, they can't come to terms with their own insecurities and take it out on the weaker.
Well,
Yeah.
What I want to say about, can I say something about the whole fat thing?
Go
No.
ahead.
I am in complete control of my weight, yet I'm overweight. In fact,
You
I
bastard.
I went to the psychologist today. I checked the BMI chart in the bathroom, and I am literally
BMI is bollocks. Okay, never mind. Go on. BMI is bollocks.
still.
Absolutely,
I am
completely unscientific. It was based off insurance, right? Rugby players or American football players are classified as overweight on BMI. I'm almost overweight on BMI.
Well, no, the reason I take it seriously is because I'm not like that weighty with muscle. It's fat.
Yeah.
I have an
Well, then-
unhealthy diet, I have an unhealthy lifestyle, and I can do anything in my power to change it, but I don't. And I see people like Cryptogrin, and I feel like shit because I'm in power of what I can do, and they're not, and I'm like making a fucking fool of myself. So what I have to tell you is this. I looked at the BMI chart, and the reason like I said, I take it seriously because it's not muscle, it's fat. If it was muscle that had me high in weight, then I wouldn't care. I'm 1 block away from being obese. So what I want to, yeah,
29.
29. So what I have to say about this is that if you cannot control your weight and you're a little bloated because of water weight, I'm really self-conscious about my thighs. That like I'm really self-conscious because I wear really loose pants. That I have this really absurdly large stomach and like male breasts.
I wear loose shirts, I wear loose clothing, and I make up for it with a lot of comedy, a lot of robustness, a lot of just being outrageous and shit, and sometimes that even gets me in trouble. But the thing is that if you can't control it at the moment, then you need to own it, and you need to make the
Work
best
it.
of a really horrible
I'm going to
situation.
fucking
Yeah, work
murder
it.
someone. This guy keeps fucking with redstone here.
Shut up.
And
Sorry.
About
Anyways,
Minecraft.
you
Thing-
should just work it. You should.
I wasn't done.
Keep
Sorry.
And like I said, there's like people with some types of diabetes that's their motivation to get off, and that's like I don't know if what's gonna happen to me if I'm gonna like get diabetes and that's gonna be the catalyst that makes me lose weight, or what's gonna happen if I don't get my shit together. But as someone who's really struggling with weight of my own choice, the only thing I can tell you that if it isn't your choice, you need to just handle it and be happy with who you are as a person until you can, because there's always going to be people that shit on you if you're overweight, if you're underweight, if you have acne, if you're white. They'll make fun of you for anything that they can.
No,
So
not
find
like this.
find a good quality about yourself and try to really emphasize that. Mine is I'd like to say my comedy. I'm always trying to make jokes. I'm always trying to make others smile.
You're not
because
funny at
I
all.
want I want my friends and loved
What a
ones
disaster.
to be happy more than anything. That if I can't be happy with myself for what I do, then I get my happiness from making others happy, so that way they don't see me as like a useless fatty. So what, like I said, if you're really good at an instrument, get really good at that. If you can write really well or art really well, do that. Take what you can do that you can control and make that really work on that, because then you'll have traits to like really go at. And if you can get rid of the whole weight thing, that just means you'll have picked up a new topic and you'll really have made it better. So the long and short of it is just be what you can, control what you can, and try your best not to shit on yourself for what you can't, because you can't shit on, if you can't control it, you can't control it. It's easier to shit on yourself for something you can control, because I feel like shit for not making a better role model of myself and losing weight. And like this kind of shit makes me want to just get up and go on a jog. So applauds to you for going out in public and doing your best. I really want to see you succeed.
Too long
I'll-
didn't listen,
I
but
want to say this too. For
I was listening.
For Cryptic Grid personally, dude, you're one of the. I've seen the videos of you talk. You're one of those people that comes off as just very, very kind and very sweet. I've seen pictures of you in real life. You have the cutest face. You're one of those people that comes off as very kind. You don't really have to worry about that, even though it is good for your health. You are a very kind person. You come off as very, very nice. You're good at drawing. You. I don't mean to come off as harsh. My reason for coming off as harsh is that I've grown up with people that are obese, and I'm watching my grandmother, who is like a mother to me, kill herself, and she just got a surgery, and she's not doing well with it. And I feel it has made me very harsh towards these things, but not to make it sound like I'm like the perfect exercise god. I'm overweight too. I have a
Same.
massive ass. I know what it's like. I'm very bad with self-control. Part of the reason I'm overweight is because I live in a house with overweight people, and I'm around this. I have no
Oh,
self-control. I have problems. I am not good. It is my fault. I don't mean to sound like I don't take blame for it. I have no self-control. Blah, 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 blah. What I'm saying is I don't mean to come off as harsh. I mean, yeah, I sound pretty damn harsh with it, because when I think of this, I think of those health at every size women that are just constantly assholes and constantly have a stick up their ass. So that's where I come from. I don't mean to sound harsh at all. And by the way, with that, I heard your groan. I am taking full acceptance for the fact that I'm fat. It's 100% my fault. I'm not saying that it's my family's fault. I'm just saying, like, I have no self-control and there's constantly food around me.
Hashtag lose weight for Cryptic Grin.
Out
Also,
of interest,
In-
I'd really like to get him on the podcast, or her.
Also, I'm just gonna
In-
quickly say this, because people, right? I understand Reverend's sort of, I suppose you could say, hatred of it, but I've learned this myself from my own mother, right? So she tends to drink. She does drink quite a lot. So for a while, I actually really hated alcohol. In fact, let's be honest, I still do, right? And I've grown to hate it quite a lot. So, and I sort of gave her a lot of shit for it. But I realized that that didn't really solve the problem. That, in fact, just divided us between each other, right? So I found that if you try to insult and break someone down for doing something terrible, like, I mean, let's be honest, she was absolutely tearing the fucking family apart, right, because of the problem. But I've realized that shitting on her for it was not working. So you kind of have to be more positive and help the person out of it rather than shit on them for it. So like, I suppose the thing is trying to, instead of like insulting someone for being overweight, is to try and get them exercising. But then when you say grandmother, it sounds like, oh, fuck it, what can you do then? Like,
Oh, my grandmother's young, but this is just a more specific situation. Sorry.
all right, but yeah,
Too long didn't listen.
exercise does help.
Just can
But
I just like not sound like an asshole for a second? When I said too long didn't listen to Storm's like entire monologue, I wasn't trying to be rude. I was just gonna like sum it up, but then like everyone else started talking, and I was like, "Fuck." But
oh right,
I was just
I was like, Jesus, Otter.
no. I was just gonna say that basically if you shouldn't really worry about your looks too much. Like if you're ugly, fuck it. If you have a great personality, fucking work it. Work that shit. Like if you're gonna be ugly, be the fucking ugliest person you can. Fucking do that shit. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Also, Cryptic Grin said Shormu that was amazing with a little heart beside it. So yeah. All right. Next
God,
time on
amazing.
Fieldcast,
Are we done?
Dead Fieldcast.
2 hours.
I mean, if you want to end, do you guys want to keep talking? I personally do not care.
We might as well save it for next time. I mean, holy shit. We just
Yeah.
went like 2 hours.
Make sure you like put a custom thumbnail and really dick out this episode. Not like the last one. We can just fucking delete that and act like this. We fucking guys. The last episode never existed. We're just late.
We've made like 2 weeks of episodes just there.
We did.
Sweet.
Like technically
Yeah.
speaking, we did.
Split up. So anyway.
Next week.
It's streaming live. I can't
Goodness.
edit that shit afterwards. So.
Yeah. Any fucking parting words? Do we have any questions on
Oh,
Ask.fm?
let me check
Don't
for
let your
any
dreams
more.
be dreams.
Yesterday you said tomorrow.
Today you said perhaps maybe tomorrow again.
Today you said maybe I'll eat that Swiss roll tomorrow. No, eat that Swiss roll now, you fat fuck.
Chaos Swiss roll.
That got pretty intense.
So yeah, so we went from like really deep, dark topics that are very offensive to like hardcore feels and like. Sorry, I kind of started that trait. I kind of started the feels trait. I
That was
apologize.
probably my
Is it
longest
just-
monologue
just
I've
that
ever
thing?
done.
That was a great monologue, though, dude.
Thank you.
So is the podcast
I'm like-
actually over now or
I
what?
feel like no, it's
no,
still
we're
on.
s- we're still on.
This-
Alright.
We always kind of do this. It's like a post-conversation like chat.
Out of
with
interest,
each other.
does the call end when the podcast ends?
No,
'Cause
we
I
just
kinda
we
wanted- Okay, good.
wanted to what?
Okay, good.
That's because I kind of don't want it to.
No, we can continue the call. I don't know. It depends on if we're gonna fucking just dick around or. What do you? We can just continue talking. I don't know. Fucking
I'll go with whatever.
podcast ass podcast.
So,
Any questions you have, random? Like you're fucking.
no.
a
I was
guest.
just gonna say, like, show me, does it ever kind of upset you? But I was gonna kind of go more deep things, and then I was gonna be like,
Well-
no, this is gonna be bad. It's like I
We're
shouldn't
already-
talk about this
we're
on the
already on the-
podcast.
Dude, I've talked to you about like the deepest fucking shit in the time we've known each other. I've known this dude since I was 11, by the way.
By the way, if you guys want to hear about more about our feels and stuff, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Oh my god, did you just
Make sure to
even?
watch me on
I
Fur
don't believe
Finky.
it.
Make sure to watch us on Furry
Make sure to
Things.
join my Tumblr
More
congregation.
feels. Shit.
Alright, random, but if it's on topic, I'd rather random just ask me any shit he wants now, and we might as well just add it in if it's gonna be feels.
Alright.
So if you got shit you want to ask, like go for it. I have no holds barred.
Actually, random, if you have any questions for any of us, because you don't really know me, you don't really know Reverend, you know Shormu, but
And we don't necessarily know how long you're gonna be here since you always disappear,
you
like
fucking
fucking
asshole.
David Copperfield.
You see, the thing is, it's kind of concerning because I probably, actually, I'll probably be back on the weekends.
Maybe
This
like
time,
if
right?
Reverend can't show up, we'll have you substitute.
Yeah, you
No,
can
like,
take my
because
place
around
if I'm
September, I
working.
think I'll be back on the weekends, and if I'm not, I should probably try to.
Like I
There were
said,
times when I thought I
we all
really
really-
should.
you know I like you, and these two really like you. I know Austin does, I don't know about Reverend. Reverend, do you
I
like
think
me?
you're cool. I think you're pretty cool.
I fucking
Good.
love my
Thank you.
husband.
Alright, so let me repeat, random. What questions do you have to ask me? You like during the whole like weight thing.
It seemed kind of like it really upset you.
It does. I'm fucking terrified of fucking diabetes, of just
becoming a human vegetable because I can't control what I eat because I'm a low willpowered fuck. It terrifies me.
I
I'm
Same.
very
See, the
upset. I'm
thing
very
about it
upset
is,
by it, but
right.
I haven't hit the point where I'm willing to change yet,
See,
and I'm
the
able
thing
to
about
admit that.
it is, I'm fascinated. If in case you guys didn't figure it, I'm a total fucking nerd when it comes to figuring out the human mind. I fucking love that shit.
I'd
So
fuck
like,
the human mind.
I found that like
Oh.
fear is the only thing that can control people. Like, if you're gonna go after, like, if a lot of people will say love controls people too, but it's more like the fear of losing that person. Like,
yeah.
happiness will push you further, or no, well, also fear, and there's other things, but fear is the most powerful thing.
Anger.
And like the
It's the
fear
most
of death.
powerful.
Yeah, I know, but I was trying to think of the motivation for rapists, and I was like, well, I suppose that's more of an underlying sort of different thing. That's more so like,
Anger.
no,
Power
well,
hungry.
that's possible. But like, that's sort of like, we have an instinctive mind, right? And the instinctive mind is what the thing that goes after, like, food and shit, like salty food, right? You get some salty fucking McDonald's fries. The mind fucking loves that shit. It's
I
like,
had some
who gives a
today.
shit if there's a steak next to you? You won't go for that steak when you got your fucking McDonald's. Like, shit.
McDonald's.
You're going straight for that, like, because that's what the mind loves, or like sex. That the mind can go nuts for that, right? But you can control it, sort of. Like, for example,
Be right
if
back.
as a guy, if I were walking by and this girl had a low cut shirt and fairly obvious tits, like, it's
Very
very
obvious
hard not
tits.
to like. Yeah, I know, but like I didn't want to say busty, but anyway, so like, it would be very hard not to like just peek and then be like, oh, whoops, I was looking. It's like, because for a split second your instinctive mind will immediately control and focus on that point and just fucking quiet, go away. But yeah, it's very hard to control that because it's instinctive mind. But oh no, Sharma's gone. Whoops. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, but fear is the one thing that controls you beyond anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you'll do anything to avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
And if I want to say it when Sharma's here, but he's not here. But anyway, if he's really dreading something, like, often people will put it off, but to face it is probably the best thing he could do,
Mm-hmm.
because that's in the end of it, like, he'll be so proud he did it. And
Oh.
I suppose sort of it's the fear of things. It's the fear of like getting diabetes and being overweight and fear of having it that makes you procrastinate, because you don't want to think about it, you don't want to accept it, you don't want to really say that shit, I'm gonna fucking die. Like, oh my god. Like, you probably don't want to. But the thing is, if you were to get fit again, you'd be so fucking proud of yourself. You'd be like, fucking did. I used to be shit scared every morning I was gonna keel over with some I don't know, XYZ. But yeah. But if you want me to motivate you, I'll send you that video link of that fucking guy every single
Shia LaBeouf.
goddamn day. Yeah.
All right, I think we're gonna have to cut it here.
Cannibal Shia LaBeouf. Have you not seen that actual
I have-
Cannibal Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah, I have. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. Weren't we the one who showed that to you?
No, I found it with no. My roommate found it for me.
I
Fucking
showed
gas.
him, didn't I?
Ah, he probably also showed me. I think I saw it though before you showed me. But yeah.
We're gonna have
I
to
don't
cut it here.
Okay, yeah, but we should
Alright,
probably
so-
cut it here because I think we've been going for like 3 hours now. How about?
2 hours, 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. Never mind. But yeah, so like that good
Do what you
podcast,
do.
guys. Good
Do what you
podcast
do.
team.
Love yourselves.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, let me get my
It's very
harmonica and
interesting.
some water.
Oh,
No.
harmonica.
Yes.
What's this like?
Please don't.
Lead us out with a harmonica solo, Shormu.
I did not hear that coming.
And that is how Shormu died.
Drowned.
Rip in fucking pieces.
Guys, could probably hear that GS chair.
All right.
See you next time, guys.
See you next week. We might have Dear Yoko on again / random.
Cryptic Grin.
Cryptic Grin, yeah. We'll see what's going on, see who's free. We'll do some podcasting and yeah, so good job and yeah. Let's end the
Fuck.
stream here and yeah, so everyone say goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye.